What's up, everybody? Today's episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by Valvoline, the original motor oil. That's right, I said original because Valvoline is America's first motor oil brand. For 150 years, they've been innovating, creating, and reinventing motor oil. From the first high-mileage oil to the first synthetic blend to the first racing oil, they've never stopped pursuing innovation to maximize engine life. And their latest innovation, Extended Protection Full Synthetic Motor Oil, provides 50% better wear protection than industry standards and is 10 times stronger against oil breakdown. Valvoline Extended Protection is specifically formulated with dual defense additive technology, combining an innovative additive boost. That's a tough one to say. Innovative additive boosted with a fortified detergent system. Well, why do you need it? Because you're probably a more severe driver than you think you are. You might go on short trips. You might tow. You might drive in very hot or cold weather. You might have a turbocharged car. You might drive around in a fully loaded truck or van, or take your sports car on spirited drives. That all puts extra pressure on your engine. And people like Chris Forsberg, Rob Dahm, Tavares, Freddie Hernandez, Speed Academy, Gears and Gasoline, Dustin Williams, and TJ Hunt all trust Valvoline in their cars. I love Valvoline because their long history and their successes in motorsport give me the confidence that I'm putting a high-quality motor oil in my car. Valvoline is the only motor oil with a dedicated engine lab where they can run specialized and standardized engine tests right in their own facility. Valvoline is also the world's #1 supplier of EV battery fluids, offering tailored products to help extend vehicle range and efficiency. Valvoline is proud to be the official motor oil of Hendrick Motorsports, and Valvoline driver Kyle Larson was just crowned the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series regular season champion with 9 wins and 2,000 laps led. Find Valvoline now at your local auto parts store. Ask for it by name. We are also brought to you by Hellofresh. I love Hellofresh. It is because here's why. It's not just for people who are bad at cooking. It's not pre-made meals that are going to taste like leftovers from the second they show up. It's pre-portioned, fresh ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. So you can skip trips to the grocery store, which are annoying. You get new recipes to try, which that's one of the problems with cooking. Even if you love cooking, like I love cooking, you get stuck in a rut. You get 5 or 10 things that you like to make that are easy and don't take much time. And then you don't really want to get creative, partially because finding a new recipe is hard, partially because you don't want to have to buy some $10 or $12 spice that you're only going to use once. And that's why HelloFresh makes home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. You know what I mean? HelloFresh offers 50 menu and market items to choose from every week, including vegetarian, calorie smart, and gourmet options, providing plenty of variety that can help you learn and try new recipes. The ingredients travel from the farm to your door within a week, so you get the convenience without skimping on the quality. And it's not just for meals. Their marketplace features a variety of add-ons for breakfast, desserts, and even seasonal snacks like Pillsbury pumpkin cookie dough. It's a can't be beat value, even at full price. It's over 30% cheaper than grocery stores. And with this holiday deal, it's time to try it for even less. So go to HelloFresh.com/SmokingTire14 and use code SmokingTire14 for up to 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. Okay, you got that? HelloFresh.com/SmokingTire14. And then you got to also use code SmokingTire14. And that gets you 14 free meals and 3 free gifts. This is awesome. It's a great deal. You've got great fresh food for the holidays. Learn some new recipes, and then you keep those recipe cards for later. You can multiply the recipe and make it for bigger groups. It's awesome. I love HelloFresh. Thank you for a sponsor. Code SmokingTire14. Get you that deal. What do we got here? How about TalkSpace? I love TalkSpace. You know why? Because on this show, we are okay with seeking help for your mental health. I have been seeing a therapist for basically my entire adult life. And I was seeing a therapist in person up until pandemic, and now I see a therapist
virtually. But one of the biggest problems with a therapist is finding a therapist you like. Where do you get the referrals, especially if you come from a background of people that don't already go to therapy and you don't have a friends group or a significant other that's already been to therapy to get a recommendation? That's why Talkspace is super clutch. It helps you make it possible to speak with a licensed therapist right from your phone, tablet, or computer anytime. And unlike traditional therapy, you can message your therapist anytime via text, video, or voice. It's 100% secure. It's stigma-free. Their therapists are licensed. They are professional. And it's really important to get involved with therapy. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm like a big, tough guy, right? I look like I would have been someone who stormed the Capitol. But I am secure with myself, and I have no problem with the fact that I go to therapy. It's judgment-free. It's the same kind of thing as going to the dentist or getting a personal trainer. And I love that Talkspace makes it easy to connect with a therapist privately, lets you message whenever you need to, because you're not always feeling like you need to talk at the same time every week. So having that flexibility is excellent. So Talkspace has all the benefits of therapy without the hassle of setting appointments, waiting a week or more between conversations. And if you've always wondered about therapy but you weren't sure where to start, Talkspace is a great place to start. It's private, it's secure, and whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, self-doubt, or anything else, Talkspace gives you access to the help you need to move forward. So go to Talkspace.com. Get $100 off your first month when you use promo code TIRE at sign up. $100 off your first month at Talkspace.com, promo TIRE. Just check it out. It's very, very helpful. Talkspace.com, promo code TIRE.
And we are also brought to you by Ignite. Listen, all over the world, companies are getting hit by ransomware attacks and having their valuable digital files held hostage, being forced to decide whether to pay cyber criminals to get them back or to have them be lost forever. On average, it takes 23 days to recover. That's 23 days of disruption, downtime, and chaos. That's crazy, right? JBS, a company that supplies 25% of the nation's meat, paid $11 million to hackers to get back up and running. The cost of not operating was simply too great. The Colonial Pipeline billing system was compromised by a single leaked password. They paid $4.4 million, and it shut down the pipeline for days, causing crazy lines at gas stations all over the country and the price of fuel temporarily to spike. And even the entire city of Atlanta was effectively shut down for 5 days due to a ransomware attack in 2018. Ransomware can come for any company in any industry, but small to mid-sized businesses are going to get hurt the worst. They have fewer cyber defenses, so ransomware has more ways to sneak through. With smaller teams, these companies are usually slower to recover, and for these companies particularly, the downtime and reputational damage can be devastating. That's why Ignite is the first ever file system with sophisticated ransomware detection and recovery tools fully baked in. It lets your teams create and share documents using Microsoft 365, Google Docs, Slack, Salesforce, DocuSign, and countless others while keeping your company's data safe. Right? They've also got a great UI user experience. It's most security software is awful. Ignite is slick. It's easy. Teams will love using it. And ransomware detection and mitigation, they all run in the background so your team can work without disruption, right? They've got total visibility so you know exactly where key documents are and who has access. There's no on-site hardware needed or no on-site software needed. You can shut down compromised accounts quickly and identify and restore encrypted files all from a single cloud-based platform. And it's amazing. It's great stuff. Ransomware attacks can be inevitable, but losing your valuable data is not. It's all about being prepared. So with Ignite, you won't need a specialized security ops team to keep up. The system is always learning and adapting to new threats, and your team can go about running your business like they always have, and you can rest easy. So see why Ignite is rated #1 for data security by real customers in the G2 crowd. Learn how you can protect your business from ransomware by going to ignite.com. EGNYTE.com. Start your free trial today at EGNYTE.com.
All right, on this episode of the podcast, Jonny Lieberman and Tony Angelo are in studio. Tony was a former Formula drift driver and now is a host on Motor Trend, building all kinds of crazy, silly things. Jonny is Jonny. We've got some whiskey. It's a nighttime show, so it gets a little weird. Tony Angelo and Jonny Lieberman on the Smoking Tire Podcast. There it is. There it is. Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Welcome to the show. Tony Angelo's here. Jonny Lieberman is here.
Hey.
He's brought his own. Yeah, once the ice gets her going, then we're good. This Lagavulin is a schmoky.
I brought something special for Zach because I was in my car.
For Zach.
What
What is that?
Nice.
Is that a baby juice?
That's just baby food for Zach.
Wow, that's
who,
a very
who hates
good
my
joke.
whiskey.
Is that baby food?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's baby food. Is
that how it
well,
comes
it's like
now?
4-year-old food.
Because I'm the only one that put water and ice in the whiskey.
No,
here.
but you were
don't wanna,
you were
I
talking
put more
smack
fun.
on Instagram about me. So
Oh,
I
that's
put
right.
more
Yeah.
ice than Amber.
no, this is payback for Instagram. This
That
is payback.
bar I just told you about, Old Man Bar, I
Yeah.
went there and I go, let me ask you a question. Because the
Yeah.
bartender's, whiskey snob,
Yeah,
bourbon
yeah.
snob.
Yeah.
And I go, I got a friend
Yeah.
who's like a, real professional bourbon drinker. And he gave me some shit for drinking this with ice. And he goes, tell that guy to go fuck himself.
This is why I never leave my house. Yeah, that's
But
nice.
Jonny performed feats of strength earlier, lifted our podcast table. We got the 3-inch risers here. It is luxurious now.
Yeah, and as I was saying, I used to deadlift, and I know that because I'm feeling pain in muscles I haven't
I have
used
to
in,
send you to
in
my
15
my
years.
doctor. No, but this is so much. I can't believe it took us a year to do
Hey,
this.
hey.
Fucking dumbass I am. I will podcast at a shitty table for a year before I figure out to just order goddamn risers. So anyway, welcome in. Welcome in. How are y'all doing?
Good to
Johnny's
be
in
here.
the Outback Wilderness today.
Yeah.
A car I really liked, actually.
Did you? Oh, we got to
I
talk
thought
about
it was
that.
nice.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
I'm okay.
You're having some thoughts?
Yeah, I it's the CVT is kind of hateful, just being a CVT.
Yes, I agree.
But worse than that is the fact that the power steering is so overboosted and non-variable. So it's probably okay with the raised suspension for parking lots, but then on the freeway, you can't keep the thing pointed straight, and then the eyesight beeps chronically. It's like every quarter mile because you're fighting the steering wheel,
Oh.
it's beeping at you.
Why didn't I have that problem? Why didn't we have that problem?
I don't know. We didn't, though.
Were you guys in the car together and talking to each other?
No, we drove it separately also.
Oh, okay.
No, but we each drove it for a couple of days. Did you have to?
Maybe I'm not able to drive in a straight line.
Do
But
you turn off some of those safety features when you get the press cars, or do you leave them all on?
I should turn these off, but that would involve digging into that menu, which is really slow.
I think that might be why.
Yeah,
we typically turn off a lot of that
Yeah,
shit as like the first thing we do when we get in these cars.
No, I'm very lazy. I left it all on, and it's insane. It's just like totally insane.
But it's interesting you say that because I was reading in the Instagram comments when we reviewed the Wilderness, some people that had lifted their Outbacks, they were like, oh, I hope this fixes the eyesight thing because their suspension lift had fucked up the system. So I guess
wait,
not.
can you just go through what is the eyesight thing for people that have never heard of
by the
it?
way, Tony,
people that work on hot rods every day. And
I was going to say, Tony's here too. We should let him talk. But
We will, but we will.
Get
But
there, yeah.
when we get to the hot rod section of this.
The only way Subaru was able to get this done, so they went to the Americans went to the Japanese and said, hey, this is a big trend. We're losing a lot of money by not offering this. And they're like, no, we don't. That's not Subaru. And and then because eyesight would malfunction when you jack them up, they said it's unsafe, and the Japanese were like, "Oh, safety, very important." Okay, that's literally how Wilderness happened, is because eyesight is the way. So it's two
but
it's
what
stereo
is it?
it's stereo cameras. They're right next. They flank the rearview mirror, and they just look ahead, and if they see something you're going to hit, they beep or they hit the brakes. If you go out of the lines, they hit the brakes. But what's annoying is if you're getting off the freeway and like one of the lines starts going to the right and you're going to make a sharp right turn and you go over a stupid meaningless line, it beeps.
Yeah.
They beep when you go over like crosswalk. It's not. They just beep. It just beeps, beeps, beeps. But by raising the height, it screws it up, and so you get a lot
It
of
changes the angle of how it's looking at the road.
it misses stuff. It sees stuff it shouldn't see, and so the eyesight has the ability to fully stop the car automatically, which saved my life one time because it was one of those. You're married, so you'll get that. You're married. Wife calls me. She's like, DirecTV said they'd be here between 8 and noon. It's now 1:15. Da da da. And I'm like on a press trip, like, oh honey. And then a dog ran in front of the car in front of me. and eyesight stopped the car.
That's like a Subaru commercial.
It really
Save
is.
the dogs.
Save the dog, and I didn't rear end the
Save
dude
the
in front of me.
marriage, save the dog. It's perfect.
Didn't save. Well, the marriage is still going, but
Got it.
I can't control the fucking DirecTV guy. You know.
Well, I believe, based on our experience, that system is easily turned off.
A lot of it is, but not the emergency braking that you can't turn
No,
off.
but the lane keeping
Yeah.
part is because we didn't. None of this beeping shit you're talking about.
It's
We didn't have
chronic.
any of
It's
it.
chronic. But I took it off road. Guzik had a Ford Bronco. We were off roading, and Subaru can do 90% of what the Bronco.
Oh, we did that on the same day too.
Yeah.
we had a 2-door Bronco and an Outback Wilderness.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
And the Outback on that fire road leading into Rauher was
Yeah.
killer. It was
Oh,
awesome.
the Bronco's horrible in actual off-road. Like the Bronco's a great rock crawler.
Yeah.
But actually, if you're going to drive on a dirt road, it's the most
it's
miserable vehicle
It's
ever
like an
built.
ox cart, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Have you got to go in the new Bronco?
I have not.
It's nice at so many things. The one thing it does horribly
Is drive on dirt.
drive on fire roads.
Oh, cool.
It's a miserable experience.
Like awful. Yeah.
Like Oregon Trail fucking miserable experience. Whereas the Outback Wilderness is like, oh, you've built rally cars before.
Yeah, you know how to do this.
And weirdly, the Subaru has 1.2 inches more ground clearance than the Bronco does.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, but the Bronco has like approach and departure angles.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all that really matters.
That rock
but-
crawling, it's
Yeah,
very
if you want to
good.
go slow and go up the side of a mountain, it does.
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
So yeah, I like doing that.
But it's like the Outback.
Yeah, it's cool. I wish Subaru would realize that they can. If they would put $5,000 more into engineering the car, they could sell it for $10,000 more.
Right.
And people would still beat themselves up to buy it because people love Subarus.
I think that's probably true. The
Yeah.
one we drove was under $40,000.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is underpriced.
It's the same
It's
car.
awesome,
It's the
though.
same
Yeah.
car. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
these days because so many things seem overpriced. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a fan.
No,
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's it's not the car for me, but
I feel like a lot of people would get a lot out of it, though.
yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
If they have to go, you have to do what you did is turn everything off.
Yeah. I recommend that
Okay.
in most cars. By the way, if you want to talk about invasive, my Mach-E has an overactive emergency braking thing that drives me fucking crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, it's not exclusive to Subaru.
Yeah.
Tony, did you see that fucking crate motor that Chevy just came out with?
Absolutely.
That is like the most America.
I love. So yeah, it's that 1,000 horsepower.
It's
wild.
1,000 NA horsepower.
1,000 NA horsepower from just a big block.
It is the biggest, most powerful crate motor ever.
Crazy.
632 cubic inches. What is that in liters?
It's like 10.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Is it 10?
Yeah, it's got to be because it's 62 inches per liter. It's got to be close.
Is it really? Is it 10?
There you
Get
go.
the fuck outta here.
10 liter right there.
Oh, 10 liter.
10
It says
liter.
it in the fucking title. Holy shit.
10
Yeah.
liters, good. That's finally.
What do you are
It's like 10 motorcycles.
That's
It's
like
fine.
pre-war.
Yeah.
that's like
like
the
a
Blitz
tank
and
engine.
Benz.
That drives several
the
tanks.
Beast of Turin?
Yeah.
You must
Actually,
hook it up to a chain drive.
The Beast of Turin is 28
I
liter
know.
4-cylinder, but still.
They keep every Goodwood they run that
I
fucking
love it.
thing.
Oh, I
though.
love it.
That's
Oh,
got to
it's
be
the
the
greatest.
most reliable 28 liter engine around.
It also is open exhaust. It literally just shoots fire
Have
out
you ever
of a
seen
block.
that thing, Tony?
I have,
The
yeah.
Beast
Greatest.
of Turin.
I
It
almost
doesn't
got-
even have a header.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
just
even
let it go
open
out.
header.
Yeah,
it's
which-
open block.
Yeah, I almost got lit on fire by it twice. Like it was because you can't stop it once it's in. There's no like neutral or I don't
you
know
just
what.
have
It
to turn it off?
I don't know, but it's going through. You're at Goodwin. It's moving, and they have people in like white jumpsuits running ahead.
They're
Like,
like-
get out of the way, get out of the way. And I'm standing there and like goes by me and blows fire because it's like face level. It's so fucking big.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, but twice I almost got killed by that thing.
Dude, Lego should totally do a Beast of Turin. Wouldn't they? If there was Lego like Technic Beast of Turin, I would fuck with
it
that.
looks like Iron Man, right?
I like how
Yeah.
small the wheels are. They're impossibly small.
But they're not. They're like
No, they're-
25 inches
Yeah,
probably.
they're massive.
That's how big the car. How tall is the car? Like from the
like
hood?
it's probably 5, 6 feet tall. It's huge.
humongo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's enormous. It's such a silly looking.
Yeah,
oh
there
my
you go.
god.
Yeah, it's so good. But that could go like 112 miles an hour or something. Over 100, 1912.
Yeah, when you see like I follow the Goodwood Instagram, and when you see they run that thing, it runs laps. It's so silly.
That's
the best.
No, but this crate motor is 10 fucking liters. What can you like? Is it just for drag racing, really?
No, I mean, listen, people have been making just crazy, stupid power on the street for so long. And I think that like, listen, electric is on the horizon, and everyone that's an enthusiast that works at Dodge or Chevy is like, just fucking turn
Last
it up.
hurrah.
Turn it up.
Yeah.
They're
What
about
can
to
we
clamp
do?
down. Last
just
hurrah.
kick out the jams.
Hellcat
one last time.
minivan. Do it.
Exactly.
We've got the Jeep 392 downstairs. Yeah, Johnny was fucking all over that thing last time. It's ridiculous.
But yeah, it's why. I mean, you could drive that probably around pretty well. It's NA. It's a Chevy big block, so the architecture is good. I bet it works.
You think it does
also.
that on pump gas? You think it runs on pump
I
gas?
would think they'd have to make it run on pump gas.
Right? It's
Probably
got it,
93
right?
probably.
Yeah.
93 octane.
93.
That's fucking crazy.
Oh, so it's only 992 horsepower in California.
Yeah.
So, like, what does big block mean in terms of like today's motors?
So
Like,
it's just that's a sort of antiquated architecture.
Yeah.
Like essentially small block, the original small block, which they made. I think the number is like enough to go to the moon if you stack
The
them next to each other or
350
something
based
crazy.
engine,
Yeah, so they made that in early 50s until 2000, I think.
Yeah.
And even a little bit later. So yeah, they made a bunch of those, and at the same time, they made the big blocks, which came out I think in the mid 60s. The real big blocks, like
Yeah.
the 396, 427, 450, and then eventually 454s and stuff, and 402s. That's like still so viable. Chevy makes their old motors are the best. So essentially, they're still updating and still using that architecture. It's not LS based. It's got nothing to do with LS. Isn't big or small block. It's its own.
Yeah.
It's a new small block, but they don't make
it
a big block
replaced
anymore.
Chevy's small block,
and
basically.
big block.
Yeah, because
essentially.
the 7-liter was like 428 cubic inches or
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
technically, it's a big block, even though it's a small block architecture.
But can you
Yeah.
run this thing in a modern car, or can you only put it in an old car?
I would think so. Yeah,
You could?
pretty easily. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fucking so crazy.
It's wild. I mean, like if you.
I wonder if it idles like normal. Like, is it just like a fuck?
It's got to be pretty choppy.
It's gotta be
That's
choppy,
big power.
right?
I mean, look, back in the day, like 1 horsepower per cubic inch was pretty rowdy. So the fact that it's making quite a bit more, almost double, it's probably tuned up. It turned up pretty
876
good.
pound-feet at 5,600.
Dude. Red line's at 7,000.
That's off. That's the best part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Those big blocks
rad.
are rev awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
That's fucking.
How much does it weigh though? Because I'm seeing it's all like everything's steel.
Is it steel? Is the block cast
block,
iron? Yeah,
cast iron,
Probably
4-volt
600.
main.
Probably about as many cubic inches as pounds. Yeah, probably about 630.
Yeah.
a pound per cubic inch?
Yeah,
Is that
somewhere
a
in
good
there.
ratio? I don't know.
It's in a ballpark.
That's fucking so crazy, dude. I bet we're gonna see a bunch of them at SEMA. You're
would
going
think-
to SEMA?
I'm not.
You're not?
No.
You going to SEMA?
Smart
Johnny?
man. No, I'm this will be my 11th year missing it. I keep track.
We'll be at the Valvoline booth podcasting behind 8-foot tall Lexan.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all like, "Do you guys need anything for your booth?" I'm like, "Lexan,
Yeah.
lots of Lexan."
yeah. And a hazmat suit.
What do you think is going to be? We're taking bets. What do you think is,
Yeah,
is going to be
Bronco.
Broncos everywhere?
I would think Bronco for sure.
I think Broncos, 86s, and Vets.
The new
C8 Vet.
86?
Yeah.
Bronco.
Bronco, I would think over
Bronco.
that. The Vet is cool, but it feels like
What are you gonna mod? Right? Like,
Bro, I've
Yeah.
seen some crazy like
Well,
body
you get
kits
turbo
and
and
shit.
stuff.
I've seen
Yeah.
turbos. I've seen some
I just
stuff.
remember how many horrible over the years SEMA Jeeps we've seen.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh,
so
yes.
now it's like most of those parts will fit. And they probably had
And Tyrese went there and was like, I have an idea.
28s. Forget the 17-inch Steelies.
No, have you
28s.
seen the ugly Jeeps he builds?
Oh, yeah.
The Voltron
Oh,
Jeeps?
no, I've
I don't know
seen
about
it.
this.
It's not gone well.
I've
It's not gone very
I've
well.
just seen so many bad SEMA Jeeps. I think the worst was, I was talking to Zach about this earlier, like 12, 13 years ago, whenever the 5th gen Camaro was new, when the Camaro
2010.
came out, yeah, it was like 2008, but they were on like 24-inch wheels, which back then was huge for a
Yeah.
Camaro.
There's a Tyrese Jeep, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's not gone well there.
No.
I bet that thing spends a lot of time in the dirt. Camaro, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. There's nothing to say. I think
Voltron Motors. Can
Yeah.
you do that? You
I'm
can
sure.
call
I thought
something else?
I thought it was trademarked.
Yeah, you
Like,
would
I
think.
thought that was like trademarked with
Like
Transformers.
Bandai going to come after him or somebody?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he can't make a toy
Maybe it's like
version.
It's got
public
cat
domain
parts
now.
in there, robot parts. I mean, it does look like an amalgamation of a bunch of different cars. It's
If
terrible.
5 of them formed like a super robot, that would be good.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, I just think there's more bad SEMA Jeeps than any other car, so it's got to be Bronco.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I've walked underneath more trucks I could give no fucks about than I even like. I just walk. They feel like playground equipment to me because it's just all these like red tubes and shit. I'm like I could never do anything with, and I'm like,
It's like,
my
what do
brain
you
goes
do
like,
with
can I go
8
walk?
shock absorbers
Can I
per
walk
corner?
under this? Is there enough space for me to like get past this
I saw one with a
monstrosity?
TV screen mounted to the shock. I was like, the
Oh,
fuck
I
are we
remember
doing?
that.
Remember that?
I
There's a
remember that
Patriot
one
truck outside.
Yeah.
I
and
wanted
I've
to
seen
just
one
give
with
up.
a TV in the rim that I don't know what happens when you start driving. but-
Really?
yeah, TVs in the rims.
How does the wiring work?
I don't know.
It doesn't.
no
It probably
idea.
doesn't.
But
Right.
but
Tony, you work on cars. How would that work?
Oh yeah, let me tell you how we do the TVs in the hub thing. Yeah, it's something we've been working on for a while.
I genuinely don't understand though when you start to get to like 4 shock absorbers
It's so
per
dumb.
corner.
Yeah.
Like what does that actually do?
It adds unsprung
Is
weight.
it just different?
Yeah.
No, but I literally don't understand the science. Is
Well,
it
I think
like
it's usually
different valving? What like is
I
it
think
for
they're just trying
jumping
to
off of
control
shit?
like a 500-pound wheel. It doesn't.
Yeah.
None of those things work or do
yeah,
anything.
I was gonna
so
say
yeah.
there's no tuning. It's just
Yeah.
aesthetics.
Right.
yeah.
I figured it's got to be something.
Listen, you like
though.
3 shocks? Here's 4 shocks.
It's just more.
Yeah, more. It's
shocks.
more good
is better.
shocks.
Right. Yeah.
yeah. I don't.
I think Broncos are probably. You're probably right.
I think Broncos are
Although
Yeah.
I will say, the other one I'm just that you see way too many of, and still driving around to this day, are Chargers. Mm-hmm. There's so many SEMA Chargers.
You know where they all go? Venice every Friday.
Yeah, oh no, they go everywhere. Chargers are in control of the freeways these days.
Yeah,
they're
man.
just 392s have taken over.
Oh my God! I get off at LAX every time I walk outside and hear, and I'm like, "Here's some dickhead in a Charger." Sure enough, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes neon, loud rims. I'm like, we're at LAX. Like, I'm just trying to get out. I'm just trying to leave. And some kid is raising hell in his Charger.
The Charger Club is all about Venice on the weekends, man. They come and do fucking so many burnouts all over Venice. They do donuts in the beach parking lot and just get away with it all the time. It's wild. I can't believe no one.
And
ever
I like the
fucking does
Charger
it.
a lot, man.
That's a
I'm
good
a
car.
fan. It's a good car.
Good
Right
value
too.
for money, but the
Yeah.
image is being ruined.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want one, but I like them.
I mean, I would take that wide body
I see the
red
appeal.
eye Hellcat, like in the like detective dark blue with the black
Yeah,
wheels.
I would do the narrow body car. Even the
Me too.
wide body's too much.
I think it looks better
I
as
like-
a narrow body.
Yeah.
Nah, the wide body.
And it drives better than a Challenger, for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
better than a Challenger.
Yeah,
Oh,
way
yeah,
better.
yeah. You know what I like about a Charger, especially the new ones, is you can always tell when the person driving it has good throttle control or not. It's like, does it go through 5 or 6 gear changes, in between every single light? Like, there's a guy in my neighborhood who has an old Chevelle, and my wife's on next door because, of course, she is. And the neighbors collectively in Venice hate this fucking Goomba in his black Chevelle. Not because he's got a loud Chevelle, because people have loud muscle cars in my neighborhood all the time, so no big deal. His throttle control is so fucking bad. This motherfucker kicks down 2 gears at completely unnecessary times. It's like, it drives me nuts.
So that guy's awesome. You're saying that
Yeah.
guy's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Loud automatic cars.
Have
with
you ever
no
seen
throttle
those kids
control.
in Japan where they like learn how to play songs on their motorcycles? That's like my favorite. It's the,
No,
it's the most
but that's
annoying
the
thing.
best thing I've ever
They're like
heard.
ring, 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 ring. Yeah, it's the most annoying thing of all time.
I would kind of respect that.
Yeah.
If this dude Chevelle was
It's
actually
impressive.
playing a tune,
Also, I'm working on a new rule, but it's kind of like anything that annoys me about cars is actually okay in Japan.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Or like heralded.
Yeah, like I saw some dude going by me the other day on some custom Orange County chopper where the rear wheel was like, a 365. I'm like, that's lame. But if that was in Japan and it was like actually like a steamroller on a scooter,
would be cool.
It would be awesome.
yeah, like cars that are lowered on like the ground and like a giant shin splitter.
Yeah.
Totally
45-degree slant.
Totally kosher
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Japan. What do you want, Tony? You want the Widow Jane? or
Yeah,
you
I'll do
want
that
the-
one.
Tony brought us a bottle of Widow Jane, aged 10 years. You can pour your own, sir. I'm not your bartender.
Thank you.
I'm not your daddy.
Do you want to put some Speedy Strawberry in?
You want to?
I'm good.
You want to make a little
Thank
daiquiri?
Whiskey daiquiri. Yum.
It's a craft cocktail. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. $17 down the street.
Yeah. But have you read up on like the are you at all interested in the EV crate motor?
Yeah, hugely.
swap?
Hugely,
Have you fucked
absolutely.
with one yet at all?
I have not. The guys from Revolt are doing some pretty impressive stuff. Here's the thing. Most of them don't have enough power that I'm really interested. Because I'm like, if you're gonna appeal to muscle car guys, the guys that like what we're doing, you gotta just gotta have some steam.
What was
how much
FCA
power?
or Stellantis' motto? It was like
Hellcat the minivan.
no, but they have an EV mod. It's like what is what the
yeah.
fuck was the motto? It was like something. Considering it was EV, it's like real violent and angry.
Yeah, that makes
like-
sense. I mean, like, I don't want to go slower.
What is
Right.
it called?
Well, I mean, I was at Phoenix. What's the drag strip in Phoenix called? It's not Thunderbird anymore. It's you know the one.
Firebird, that one?
Firebird. It's
Yeah.
not Firebird now.
Okay, I don't know what it is.
It's like Phoenix International.
International,
whatever.
yeah.
But well, first of all, I showed up in a Ferrari. I had an 812 there, and they were like,
good.
no one even looked
they
at
hated
it.
you
No one
already.
even.
Yeah,
There was no hate because they'd have to look at a
Yeah.
bright yellow car. But then it popped off like a 10.85, and suddenly the crowd turned, and they're like, what's under there? I'm like, V12. But that was just by happenstance. Chevy had their EV Camaro dragster.
Oh, yeah.
The
And-
Copo?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it did like, it wasn't even running right. It did like a 10.
What is running right?
Yeah, doesn't have to run. I don't even. Wasn't charged up all the way.
Whatever it was, the engineers, but it did like a 10 something
Yeah.
silently, and people were just, you could see them like, oh, that's not a Prius. That's
Yeah.
actually fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, drag racing is what these things can do.
And out of
Yeah,
like
oh, yeah.
all the hot rod host guys, whatever, I'm like the one who's most into that. So I'm super into it. I love the idea. We're gonna hopefully finally build. I've been begging to build an EV car for like 3 or 4 years.
I mean, and the parts are there. It's like
Now
it's like the
not
science
a big
is
deal.
pretty sound.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking about back having a Tesla and like putting it underneath an old car, and now that we don't have to do that. Now, like some companies out here have, I think it's like 655 horsepower, 600 horse and a late 50 torque.
Yeah.
It bolts, drops.
I mean,
in
I
place with a
shit
small
on
block.
Tesla for what I consider are a bunch of valid reasons, but they could build a drag car.
Yeah,
There's no
well,
question.
it's not even that.
Quick.
It's
There's
like-
no
quick,
question Tesla can
Think
build
about
a
all
drag
the
car.
stuff you hate about it, but you know the power is insane.
Yeah.
So you drop that in like, some iconic muscle car, a 70s Chevelle, and whip it around. It would be a fun daily driver.
It's funny how that's like the equalizer, because we did that Rivian trip across the country, and I drove through the deep ass South, like Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, like the really rural parts, all Confederate flags, all Trump flags, and people would come
Did you
up.
have to get a Jewish visa to get in there?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story in a second, but so people would come up and they're kind of curious and looking, and then they're not that excited. Then I'd be like, it's 835 horsepower. They're like, what? I'm like, your truck? Because everyone there drives a truck, and if they have a new truck, it's at least $65,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, your truck makes 400 horsepower, whatever it makes.
Yeah.
That's 835, 900, and they're just like, holy shit, really?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the first one out the gate. So that's what's kind of like exciting people.
That's
We
the
just
easiest
had the-
conversation to have. It's just go, this makes a fuck ton of power.
Yeah,
Like, that's
yeah.
what they go. These guys are like, electric and stupid and blah, blah. And you're like, this is faster than your car.
If you took any of those people and put them in the passenger seat and just did a drag launch, they all shit their pants.
Oh, yeah.
We drag raced the Rivian against TRX, and the TRX was just annihilated. Which, by the way, the
course.
TRX is the quickest pickup truck that burns
Ever.
gasoline in ever.
Ever
4
in
seconds
history.
flat to 60.
Yeah.
Wow.
Rivian's almost a second quicker. It's like
For our people, we get a TRX in November, second week in November, third week in November.
You love that thing, right?
oh, I have one for a year. Well, it's in the shop because it got fucked up going across country off road. But
Oh, you took that too as a
that
camera
was
truck?
the camera guys drove it.
The
and
irony.
contrast.
Yeah. The irony. You offset all the gas you didn't burn in the
Yeah.
Rivian
Oh,
by
I
burning twice as much as you needed in the TRX.
I mean, we did so much with the TRX that's anti-Rivian. It's, I mean, the best story. I was going to tell another story about the Jew thing. I'll get to that later. But it's
fine.
They don't like Jews and stuff. So
try you.
we're somewhere in Mississippi. I mean, the ruralest part of Mississippi you can possibly imagine. And these people on quads come by and they're like, there's no way you can keep going down the road. We're like, why not? They're like, it's gone. The road is gone. We're like, nah, these are good off-roaders. Like, we'll be fine, right? We get there and it's like a 5-foot straight drop, literally just a sinkhole.
like the bridge is out.
Yeah. And we're like, and then we noticed that through the woods, somebody had taken a chainsaw and knocked all these trees
Made
down.
a little trail.
So the Rivians fit. T-Rex, which by the way, a Hummer H1, so the military Hummer, 86.5 inches wide. T-Rex, 88 inches wide. Jeez. Just to give you an idea,
Yeah.
So like,
The T-Rex is way too goddamn huge.
That's huge.
That's way
90
so
inches
huge.
wide. It's
dude,
nuts,
it's
dude.
ridiculous. So no matter what we do, there's no way to get it through this little temporary pass was created. we had a chainsaw with us. So I'm like, all right, great. It's an electric chainsaw. So we hook it up to the Ram.
For the environment.
Whoever brought that was very smart.
Yeah, well, because we figured it's just we're driving 7,700 miles. Maybe there'll be a tree we can't move,
of
cut
course.
it or whatever. Anyways, plug it into the Ram, and I didn't know this, but Ram truck inverters are shit, and it won't even power the chainsaw.
no.
So then we had to
Plug it into the Rivian?
Then we had to get a Rivian back, and we cut the tree down with the Rivian, with powered by the Rivian. We cut it down with the chainsaw. Anyhow, Rivian caught wind of the fact that we had to like cut down a tree, and they're having meetings. Meanwhile, half the assholes at Motor Trend, and I love you guys, but they're like all Boy Scouts all of a sudden. They're like, "Oh, what? You do no harm. Leave it the way you found it." And I'm like, guys, if we didn't cut down the tree was 12 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
No, circumference. It was not a big tree. It was big enough that we couldn't drive over it. I'm like, we would have had to go backwards like 100 miles. The electric vehicles wouldn't have made it.
Yeah.
It was like fuck up the trip or lose one tree in rural Mississippi, the most tree-infested place in the world. Like,
I've never heard the word infested.
Yeah, tree
used to
infested. I
describe
like
tree.
that. Yeah.
They fly
What you're
in.
describing is a forest.
Yeah, it's an orchard. Yeah.
one, but guys, one tree.
I'm
Yeah,
not.
just tell them to go
giving
plant
you
shit.
And
shit.
by the way, they were camping on this trip and burning firewood. And as I pointed out to Rivian, they have wood in the interior of their car, which didn't magically appear. Like somehow that wood's coming from
Well,
somewhere.
if you cut the tree down, put it in the bed, and brought it to them to make into the interior of another
There you
truck,
go.
Reclaimed.
I literally got to the point where I'm like, we're gonna have a funeral for the tree. And that's like, it was the most insane thing.
That's hilarious. Did you then
Yeah.
do 400 words in the life of the tree?
No, I would have gotten in trouble. Don't even ask. It was nuts. But anyways,
You know what? I think that tree made a sacrifice so that
well, the locals came back.
Did you bring it to the mill and print Motor Trend magazine?
We should have.
That would be good.
Just a Rivian brochure. No, but the locals came back and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's an invasive species. Like we hate those trees. They're impossible to
good.
cut down because it was
There
really
you go.
hard to cut this tiny little tree down. It's some like weird
That's
hardwood.
a kudzu.
No, the kudzu was all over it. But anyways, it was.
That's really funny,
Yeah,
though.
people are ridiculous. Is my point.
Yeah, I remember. Did you watch any of Clarkson's Farm?
It was the best
I
show.
did watch a
I
couple
really
episodes.
found it to be very enjoyable.
I loved it.
And I guess, in one of the episodes, he thinned out his forest. He had a forest, and he cleared some of the trees. He thinned it out. He made like a crazy amount of firewood. And apparently it was like totally ecologically kosher. Like
Yeah.
good for the forest. And
Yeah.
he got a bunch of angry letters after posting an Instagram post or something about it. And,
Yeah. The best part of that show was when he goes to buy the used farm equipment and he's like, this is great because Amazon said they wanted diversity. And we have
Yeah, that was
every
so
type
good.
of 60-year-old white man possible.
He just got an award.
It was
Like
such a good show.
British Farmer of the Year.
Is that right?
Yeah, he just got a fucking
It's a good
award.
show.
I mean,
that
who
kid
was
is my
second place?
favorite.
Oh, Caleb?
Oh
That
my
dude's
God,
a rock
dude.
star. What a rock star.
It's like 21.
There is like there's like many types of talent.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite types of talent is people that can find like blue collar folks that are rock stars on
Yeah.
camera
Oh, yeah.
or on the radio or whatever. Like my friend Opie from the Opie and Anthony show is like one of the greatest radio producers of all time because of like Anthony from that show was like fucking knocking HVAC tin, and then Carl Ruiz was like a chef, and he found these people that were like turned out to be like amazing broadcasters. And this dude Caleb Cooper, I think is his last name.
Yeah, he's
First off, he
hilarious.
looks like he could be Clarkson's kid in this fucking picture.
Grandkid.
But he is a fucking ace.
What
in this
I love
shit.
is he has no idea who Clarkson is.
Doesn't care. Clearly doesn't care.
The other amazing.
Does not give a shit.
There's one point where like they open up that store and Caleb's like, "Oh, fucking idiot! How are you going to advertise this?" And Clarkson's like, "Well, I do have 7.6 million Twitter followers." And his response is, "What's Twitter?"
He's like from another world. That kid's so good.
Well, there's a whole episode because he'd never been to London.
God, that was good.
Like London is 2 hours from where this dude grows
Right.
up, and he's never been there.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, remember when Clarkson's like, "Oh, I love this. It looks like Oklahoma," and he's like, "Where's that?" He's like, "America." He's like, America."
That show really made me re-like Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh yeah. It's
it
fantastic.
really was
It's
because
fantastic.
he was at his best when he's completely out of his element.
Yeah.
Trying to do things. The scripted stuff gets very stale, but like when he's just bumbling and lost and shit, it's fabulous.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I was shocked. Even though they swear constantly, I had my 4-year-old watch it because he loved it.
yeah,
He's
it
just
was
like,
a good show.
There's just animals.
And it makes you appreciate farming. Farming's hard.
I went in and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to care about this show." I'm not even like super hot. Like I like Clarkson, and obviously Top Gear is like an iconic show. And I was like, I'm not gonna. I was just like, let me just put. It was one of those things. I don't know. I was like, let me just put it on and see what happens. I watched like 3 episodes in a row. I was like, you've got to be kidding. Like I was entertained, informed. I'm like, this is a great fucking show.
Yeah.
Up to the point, I'm like, son of a bitch, you got me.
He
like,
literally was awarded like the Farmer of the Year award in England for like someone who had done the most for British farming, and it's fucking great.
Yeah,
Makes you feel
it was
good.
cool, and it's cool how he's in his own roundabout way kind of became an environmentalist over the course of the season. You know what I mean? Like because for 20 years, however we've known about Top Gear, he's been like, hates the Greens and all this, and kind of a right winger in Britain is like a California Democrat, but you know what I mean. Like, so it was cool to see him like kind of come around and like it's really important to have biodiversity, and
right.
It's in a way it was like him maybe apologizing a little bit for how dumb he acts on camera sometimes. So I like
a little bit. Yeah.
It was just good.
But there was, and some of that charm is still there. I
and
liked the
buying the
rare
Lam-
appearance of the Top Gear project car.
That was
Or
good.
the Grand Tour project
That was
car
very
in
good.
the episode.
But also just that he buys the Lamborghini tractor because of course he does.
It doesn's fit anywhere.
If I'm buying a
So
fucking
stupid.
tractor, what do you think I'm buying?
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, he bought the TRX of tractors though.
Do you follow Jeff's Ward on Instagram? You must,
I
right?
love Jeff's.
He cruises around his Colorado property in his old Porsche tractor all
Yeah,
the time.
that
It's
thing's
great.
hysterical.
He exercises it like it's a classic car.
Oh, the coffee tractor, the orange one.
The orange one.
Yeah, it's like from a Brazilian coffee plantation or something.
It's really cool looking.
I love that thing. It's so good.
How do we end up there? I forget.
We were I don't know. Bourbon. Talking about bourbon.
But just wrapping up. Speaking of which, the EV muscle cars and shit. Just right quick, because Zach and I had the Mach-E GT this past week. Did you drive it yet? So it's like 90% great. Mm-hmm. It's fucking quick. I mean, it's not as quick as like a plaid Tesla or whatever, but it is quick enough to make you mildly nauseous if you do 2 launches in a row.
Is it like a 3 second?
Yeah, it's
car?
low threes for sure. Ford says 3.5. It's probably a little quicker than that.
Yep.
It's like a great 7/10ths car. It kind of falls apart when you start to push the
pushing it super
limits
hard,
of traction. It starts
Is
doing
that
some funky
tires
shit.
or what is it?
It's based off of like what's the chassis? Because it's pretty high up off the ground, right?
It's not.
like a
it's not as high up as you
crossover
think. It's that the floor is an 8-inch thick battery pack.
Okay.
Did you know a Mustang GT has more ground clearance than a Mach-E?
Yeah,
That makes sense.
It's ridiculous. A Mustang has like 5.6 versus 5.2.
Yeah, no,
They're
the center of
actually
gravity is
high.
not that high.
Okay.
It's if you look at one, it looks higher than it is because if you open the door, you realize that there's 8 inches of
you're
battery
sitting on
in the
top of
floor.
it. Okay.
Well, and they have the black painted side sills that
Yeah,
make it
yeah.
to kind of hide
Visually,
how low it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when it starts doing its funky torque vectoring and brake vectoring shit, when you really start to go fast, it's like not great.
Not your favorite,
And the
yeah.
steering's pretty digital, but at 7/10ths,
It's awesome.
it's really fucking fast. Really,
because
really
your
fast.
car, or at least the all-wheel drive version of your car,
Oh, yeah, look at that
I
thing.
muscled that thing up and down Angelo's
Yeah.
crest, and it's hysterical at its 10/10s because there's no tire.
Yeah.
But
This
it's
one,
not-
now that it's got a bunch of tire
And the all-wheel drive.
and the all-wheel drive, it gets a little confused and digital. Now, mine is a rear-wheel drive.
Yeah,
and I think it steers and drives better because the front tires are just turning. So like the mag ride is excellent. The seats are excellent. The seats are really, really good. And shout out to the guy who DM'd me on Instagram because we talked about in the video how much we like the seats. The head engineer for those seats hit me up on Instagram and
Cool.
said how much he appreciated. It's not like we don't do this to suck up to manufacturers.
Right.
But it's nice when you say something nice, unforced, say something nice, and then the human who is in
Yeah,
charge
that's
of
what
that.
no one
well,
gets.
yeah,
it's
that's-
not some evil corp. I mean, it is
Yeah.
an evil corporation, but
They have teams of
within
real
the evil
people, yeah.
corporation, there's
It's
guys
nice
getting
to
a paycheck
hear from
yeah.
the person who is responsible for this that they worked really hard on it and you appreciate what they did.
Well, he's
And
probably
a good,
stoked, yeah.
a good seat is like hugely important.
Hugely
in a car.
important.
I can't
And
believe
this
how
is the best seat Ford's ever put in a car that they didn't outsource to Recaro.
Okay.
That's good.
But it looks really nice, to me, within the limits of adhesion, it drives really beautifully.
And what's the power?
The regular car.
The GT.
Yeah,
Within
okay.
the limits of grip, it drives beautifully. It's 480 horsepower and 634 torque. It's a bunch.
Yeah.
It fucking
That thing
goes.
jams,
The
I'm
steering kind of sucks, though.
Steering kind of sucks.
The steering is too heavy, and you're not actually feeling anything through the wheels, and it's even heavier in this than
They
it
just
was
added
in yours
weight.
because of the tire and the weight they add to it.
And then what's the price on it?
As
61.
base 59 as tested. We drove that yellow car in the photo, and it was 69 as tested.
69.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's directly cross-priced with Model Y performance.
Yeah.
I don't wish I bought it.
right.
I'm happy. I got a long-range premium rear drive. It was $53,000. It's a $750 a month lease, no money down.
Right.
I couldn't be happier with mine.
Yeah.
That's the thing I feel like is like, who is this for? I'm confused about it because it looks better than yours because of the body match.
painted fenders,
Looks,
yeah.
I think it looks really good, and you
It sits
get
10 mil lower as well.
yeah, you get a little bit better aesthetic, but like unless you're driving it in a performance setting or trying to compete with your friends that have Teslas,
Yeah.
like this doesn't do for me what the GT Mustang does when you go up from EcoBoost.
Well, we
That's
discussed
such
this.
a big difference.
Of course, but that's
But
what
like,
I'm saying.
we talked about this in the video. Like when you talk about a gasoline powered car,
Yeah.
and you've got the entry level version and then the performance version. It vibrates differently. It sounds differently. It revs differently. Its power bands are different. You notice that it's got a bigger engine all the time. Whereas with an EV, the slow one, the middle one, the fast one, at 10% throttle, they feel exactly the same. At 30% throttle, they feel exactly the same. It's only when you start to really get into the pedal that you actually notice those differences.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things like that too, like with autonomous driving, right? What will autonomous driving do to like Audi has regular Audi an S and an RS. Well, what's an autonomous RS?
Yeah.
It's going to drive more dangerously.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You know what I mean? So EVs do bring up a whole bunch of new questions.
Yeah, well, they have to delineate that price point. You're going to spend all that money. I mean, like the idea that your car doesn't have the same styling cues is, I think, a bummer because like you're spending 53 or whatever it is.
I'm not upset with my car.
I get it.
It's fine. It's not like if I could get my rear-wheel drive long range with the GT seats and the mag ride shocks, that would be the perfect daily driver car.
Yeah.
Perfect. I wouldn't, and maybe they'll come out with like a performance blah 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 pack or something.
I'm going to say something. I actually personally, because while it is very much a car that slightly looks like an SUV, because it is a little bit more on the SUV side, I like the black fenders. I think without them, it just kind of looks like a fat car.
No, I like the other car.
I like the painted fenders.
I like the other
I
car.
cannot support this.
Because otherwise, it's just a fat car.
That grill is not my favorite.
The black grill is better, I think.
Oh, I like that. I don't mind.
In
this.
fairness, my
I like
premium
that a
one,
lot.
the fenders are painted black. They're not bare plastic. The
Yeah.
base one is bare plastic. Mine are painted black. And then the I really like the color match on the premium.
What color is your
GT.
car?
Iconic silver.
Okay.
Which every couple of years,
No, I like this one
Ford
better.
comes out with a color where they really. It looks like they're not making any money on it. In 2016, it was
I was waiting for some like majestic statement about like
in 2016
they really
it was
just-
nitrous blue. The
Yeah.
nitrous blue Focus RS, you go they're losing money on this paint job
Yeah.
for sure. The Shelby GT500 with that flaky orange, you go there's no fucking way they're making a dime on this with the bare carbon stripes.
Yeah.
And in the Ford in the Machi, it's iconic silver because it looks like that AMG SLS liquid metal color. It's very deep. It's good. So anyway,
Is it
we
that
gotta
one?
figure-
That one next to the thumbnail?
Yeah, there it is.
I
That's
get it. I
It's
get it.
it's a much deeper and I had a friend show up with a rented Ford Escape, and it was silver, and they parked it next to this, and it's not the same silver at all.
I believe. Well, you can see the contours so well in that
Yeah.
front shot.
It looks like
It
a
looks so
liquid
much better.
metal.
Yeah.
It's good.
I like those black fenders. I gotta tell you, I don't like that body color.
It
just-
works with the silver.
It just looks fatter with the body color. This trims it up. It hides mass.
I think that's a good argument.
Is that your daily?
Yeah. When I don't
much.
have a press car, it's my
Yeah.
wife's daily most of the time, but it's our as a family, it's our only modern car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right,
Yeah. But I cannot say. I mean, it hasn't been perfect. There's been a couple little software hiccups, mostly related to connecting to my wife's iPhone 10.
Oh, but I mean,
My iPhone 12, we've had no problems. But
yeah, I mean, tell your wife to get a new iPhone.
I know, I've
yeah.
tried. I'm like, you work at fucking Twitter. Get a new phone.
Right, yeah, right. Why won't
But
she? Oh, yeah.
besides
Another
that,
story,
it's
yeah.
been absolutely ace.
Yeah,
It's
and
a
I would say
wonderful
that's
daily
not even a
driver.
problem with the car. That's
It's
a
not.
problem with the user. Yeah,
Probably
with the user.
Zach and I are doing. We're taking it to Vegas. We're doing another EV road trip
Nice.
to Vegas. So.
I just had an interesting road trip. I had the Audi RS e-tron GT.
Oh yeah,
Which I'm fucking in love with. I finally...
your Instagram was all gushy about that.
I was gushing. I am so into this car because I like the Taycan or Taycan or whatever the fuck it's called, but it's like the interior is like 85% of the way there. You got to
Sure.
use a screen to adjust the vents.
Yeah, the Audi's got some
backup
buttons.
camera doesn't work on the Porsche, and the steering's not super ideal.
Where is this?
Right
Red on the
there.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. You were just
Yeah, there
on
it is.
Is this what that Ken Block's been posting about this thing, right? And all these
Ken Block
Probably.
went to Audi,
I know
man.
he did.
That's
I know he
how
did. Good for him.
interesting.
Yeah.
He seems like he had fun in Germany.
Hell yeah.
Driving all that
I would
groupie
too if they
shit.
were like, here's the keys to fucking
here's the
everything.
museum.
That S1.
These cars
right?
all run. They're like, you know these cars all run. You
crazy
want to drive them?
prototype thing. Yeah.
I drove that that Sport Quattro.
Oh,
there.
I've
That's
driven that.
Zuckerman's, yeah.
Zuckerman's
Fucking
car. Yeah.
rad.
No plates, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, I was saying it drives like a 2006 STI, but it's fucking rad. But anyways, the Audi, I'm so head over heels. But I had this like very comical road trip where, long story short, before COVID, we booked tickets to see Primus because they were going to play Rush's Farewell to Kings in its
I
entirety.
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
And then it got delayed a year, and then we're going to go, and then our friends who were going to stay with in Paso Robles, they couldn't do it. But long story short, my wife's out of town. I had the kid. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go up there anyways. A couple of my friends are going. But like, I had 4 tickets, and my friend was like, bring the tickets. I'm going to give them to some other friends. So we're like 5 miles away from the house. I had the thing fully charged, and like, oh, forgot the tickets. Got to go back. So just knocked 20 miles of range off. Then it was like I forgot to set the charge target from 80 to 100. So I went to a 350 kilowatt charger.
Right.
But just didn't
didn't
get fully
fill all the way.
charged.
Yeah, yeah.
My fault, but maybe the car. Then I wasn't using nav because I'm like, I know where I'm going, and then suddenly I'm in Taft. I'm like, oh shit! So I drove out of the way. But then like it still doesn't have very good range.
Yeah.
I had to charge the thing 4 times on. From my house to Morro Bay is like 120 miles.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So it's like Electrify America kind of sucks. So it's like
It still requires a lot of thought and planning to do this kind
human
of stuff.
error, machine error, and federal government not like doing enough to put like in Morro Bay, the Audi was like, hey, there's 2 chargers. I'm like, sweet, I'll just charge in Morro Bay. First one doesn't exist. Drove all around a fire station parking lot, not there. Found the other one at City Hall, and there's a big sign, we dedicate this electric vehicle charger to our grandchildren and their green future. And it's just, there's a metal plate over where the cable would come out.
No.
Just, it broke, and they...
No.
And the grandchildren were cut out of the way.
Enjoy it, grandkids.
And
Yeah.
it's just like, God, so there's no infrastructure.
And then you posted on your Instagram a really funny photo that I totally related to.
Oh,
Zach,
yeah.
go back of the charging station.
Yeah, right there.
That had. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So this because this is in Malibu as well. At the Cross Creek at Bill's.
It's a lot of them are like this.
So this is a charging station that has 4 charging cables.
Yeah.
But next to in between 2 parking
never
spots,
put- yeah, you
could
could
never
never put-
possibly park 4 cars.
Well,
there.
here's the
But
other
are
thing.
those 2 different voltages?
No,
they're the
no.
same.
But wait, hang on.
That's
Much
amazing.
to say. Worse than that, see those solid steel poles that are right by your door when you get out of the car? So that sucked because,
Yeah.
and like, you can see how far away I'm parked, and I still managed to my 4-year-old, I should say, managed to ding the door, but it's just like, God damn it.
So
But-
those steel bollards are probably required by code
Yeah,
to
definitely.
prevent
For
you from
crashing
driving
into it,
into
yeah.
the fucking charger, but still that's
But-
I can
Yeah,
see
Can we
how
make
it's
those
terrible.
cables like twice as long?
Oh,
So
the
you
cables
can-
are too short.
stupidest thing.
Well, so this post got so much heat that the PR guy from Electrify America called me, and I have a meeting now set up with the president of Electrify America.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Can I come?
I'd love you. I actually said, can I bring
Oh my
Farrah?
God,
Yeah,
please
yeah,
let
yeah,
me
yeah.
come.
But
I have some things
So-
to say.
You guys both have to wear capes.
so It's you could. I didn't know this. I thought I saw this. I was wrong. Apparently, you can never charge 2 on 1. It's just basically
so they're
the left
backups?
cable is just for if your charger's on the back of your car, and the other cable is for if it's on the front of your car.
So
That's all it's for.
that
so they
is
can't
dumb.
make the cables longer, or they can't.
They
like,
just
reel
can't
them in.
sustain
I have so
two
many-
cars,
so
more
thick.
than 2 cars.
Yeah.
Well, they could. No, they could. They just didn't make them long.
Well, I think
That's dumb.
when you hold one of those things, like the gasoline hoses are fairly flexible. They can make them
Oh,
extend.
these
all that
are
stuff.
insane.
These are super heavy because it's
Yeah.
all wire.
Like,
so they probably
it-
can't make it like a real system where.
And if you're at a funny angle, like good luck doing it one-handed. Like if you have
Yeah.
a kid in your arm or
Yeah,
a bag
yeah.
of groceries,
Grip strength.
No,
And-
it can be kind of unwieldy. Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm very strong, and I like struggle to get it in. You know?
I totally understand. Yeah.
So, yeah, they-
You're like,
they-
I have to two-hand that thing to
Yes.
line it up right.
Yeah. My 4-year-old really wanted to do it, like couldn't
like,
even.
forget it.
Not happening.
Yeah.
He tried,
You should have seen me in Malibu on Sunday. I had to wrestle that thing onto the top of the live wire, the electric motorcycle I'm
motorcycle,
riding,
yeah.
which, by the way, is absolutely glorious.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you, within 3 minutes of getting on this motorcycle, I went, oh, fuck me, this is absolutely
No
the
shit.
jam.
Harley,
It's like-
if you're listening, I would also like to feel that.
It's like flying a glider.
Send me one
It's
immediately.
incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, the short range is an issue, but the
What do you
action,
mean?
It's really. They say it's 145 miles.
Okay.
It's really 100 miles. Really.
That's
It's
all
motorcycle.
It's a
EV.
motorcycle.
I rode
that
from
Audi
here
says
to
fine.
Bills.
That's fine for me.
Okay.
Here
There
to
you go.
Bills was 30% of the battery. That's a lot.
I went up in the Audi. I went up from the Shell station at the bottom of Angeles Crest to Newcomb's, and I used
27 miles.
I used 110 miles of range.
Nice.
But did you recoup some on the way back down?
I recouped 2% on the way back.
Yeah,
down.
that's not so much.
Does the motorcycle feel different? Like, does it? Because motorcycles, you can feel where the mass is more than any other vehicle.
It feels
I
like
think.
it has a pretty low center of
It
gravity.
must, right?
Like it's 526 pounds.
It's healthy.
But it is more maneuverable than I would expect a 526 pound bike to.
Yeah.
Like it's about the same weight as the Sportster, the new Sportster that I rode.
Okay.
Like a couple months ago, but it's more maneuverable than that.
Yeah.
It was
520 is not the end of the world.
It's not
No.
that heavy,
Yeah.
but see in this photo, the motor's at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then the battery comes up from that. And everything that's sort of underneath the, quote, fuel tank shaped thing that's not a fuel tank is all the computer stuff. So they put the lightest stuff at the top,
Which makes
and the
sense,
heaviest stuff at the bottom. And it first off, away from a light, there was like 2 Ducatis next to me, and I just cracked the throttle next to the light, and it took the fuck off. It's
Whoa.
awesome.
Does it have wheelie control?
Yeah, does it,
It
have
does.
some
It
kind
has.
of
It does have
traction
wheelie
outlay?
control. It has technology control. It also has a brake torque control. So like it's got regen, right? So it regens. So if you're hard throttle and you dump the throttle real quick, it has a technology that prevents the rear wheel from locking up from a regen.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Yeah, you need that.
But you cannot play a song on the throttle.
And
so
I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
wouldn't want this as an only motorcycle per se. Like
I wouldn't want it either.
I love
you ride bikes?
manual shifting. Sport motorcycles and feeling engines.
There's no shifting.
There's none.
one speed.
But when
Yeah.
you come up to like in the city,
Yeah.
there's also no like finding
Yeah.
neutral.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Trying to stay upright?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just rip away from red lights.
Yeah, but it's fun.
And it's got a little whir, a bit of a whir, but like it feels like flying a glider. Like it's just you and the outside and the air, and it's fucking
So
cool.
I was just telling Zuckerman about this because he's been so like EVs. I'm an old man. I'll never drive one. And I was in Germany on the BMW iX drive. So that's like the electric 5 Series.
Yeah.
And I forget the exact speed. I was over 100 miles an hour on the Autobahn. Set the cruise control, and you're dead silent.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It is
It's
cool.
like flying.
It
It's
is
just
cool.
So there's no like.
Yeah.
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 It's just like.
Yeah,
It's
awesome.
neat. It was awesome.
We should talk about some gas cars because the audience is going to fucking turn on us. They're getting pissed.
That's why Tony's here.
They're
Yeah.
getting pissed because we keep talking about electric cars on the show.
How's your
They
fleet,
are.
Tony? Your growing garage. Your personal garage.
Pretty good. I haven't got anything crazy. I bought a E36 like a couple weeks ago just as
try a
a
little
beater
bit.
drift
Even
car.
with
That's
the
the
size?
last thing I got.
I saw that. I was like, yeah, that's the
Wait,
way
did
to
you
go.
say Beater E36?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been
Was
like
it $40,000 because that's what they're worth?
yeah, no. So obviously like I've been obviously like a pro drift racer and started doing Motor Trend, and then it was like, you love being on a racetrack, you idiot. Like buy something that I can just drive a bunch. So I bought this 240 with an SR. It's a rusty nightmare. And then it was taking too long to get together. I'm on my YouTube channel. Like I got it running. It's this SR. It's been sitting for 10 years, which those motors are okay. And then I was like, I can't not get on track this year. So I bought an E36. It's a 328. It's got a welded auto diff. It's got a handbrake. It's got coilovers. It came with some parts that put some angle into it.
Welded? You say welded auto diff?
Yeah, it's a higher gear. It's like a 3.9 instead of a 2.9.
Oh, all right.
So it's got some more, gears are closer, and it's got some seats and stuff in it and a steering wheel. So it's very basic. I paid like $4,000 for it. It wasn't no big, and I had the kid deliver it because I bought it here. I think I sent him money. Like it got delivered while I was in California.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's my life.
I like, what I like as a, and do you want to take a test drive? I go, I'll tell you what, you drive it to the shop, and if it makes it here, that's fine. You just do the test drive for me.
You do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I'll buy this car for asking price.
Yeah.
Bring it to my house. And that's what happened. Yeah, I was like, drop it off at my buddies, and I'll PayPal you the money, and then I'll come get it when I'm home.
That's hilarious. We're doing a project for eBay, which I guess we could talk about. And I bought a car for it, and I don't want to. I'll tell you what it is after the show. Don't blow it up yet because it's a fun surprise.
Okay.
But that was literally it. The guy was like, "Do you want to come take it for a test drive?"
No.
I was like, no. But you live 35 miles from my shop, and if it makes it here without exploding, that counts.
Sold.
I got money.
Yeah.
And it did. Huh?
Yeah, this was New Hampshire. The kid's in New Hampshire. And he's like, I was like, I'll pay your asking price. He's like, I'm moving to Delaware. I'm like, cool, drop it off on the way. And he did. So that was it.
People have really beaten that test drive thing into you because, like, when I buy cars now, new cars, they're like, "Do you want to take it for a test drive?" I'm like, "No, that's what I do for a living."
Brand new. Yeah, I know what it is.
I'm picking the color, and like they won't let. They actually will not let you take it away unless you test drive it. Like when I got the Alpha, I literally drove off the lot, went to a stop sign, made a U-turn, and came back. I'm like, "Seems great."
Yeah, cool.
It's good to go.
Yeah.
I know this. I got it.
There might be some liability associated with that.
There's some nonsense too. My buddy just bought a car cash, and they were like, "You have to fill out a credit report." I was like, "I'm gonna buy it cash," and they were like, "Nah, we'd really like you to like sign up for this credit program." He's like, "I'm gonna pay it off."
Well,
I'm gonna pay it off on like payment too. They're like, "Fine." And that's what happened.
They probably get some kind of kickbacks for that.
Well, it's probably has more to do with like demographic data for like whatever manufacturer.
Yeah,
they love nothing makes a car maker happy than if you just happen to have a Honda and you just happen to buy a Toyota, even though you're not like I've decided Toyota is better than Honda.
Conquest sales.
Exactly. That
must be
nothing.
conquest
They're just like they're so thrilled about that.
Yeah,
So
what'd
they-
you sell to get this car?
Yeah.
So you guys are building a car for eBay or what?
Two of them.
We're doing a project. Yeah, we
I'm
got
not-
we got two cars, and should we say what the premise is of the series?
I think we can say what the premise is. Yeah, we just can't say what the cars are.
Yeah, so we won't say what the cars are yet, but the premise is that crossovers are the new norm. Right? Everyone's buying crossovers, right?
Sure.
Sedans are dying, wagons are dying,
Yeah.
sport coupes are dying, and that leaves the enthusiast behind.
Yeah.
Right? Because crossovers don't have the purity that enthusiasts want.
Much like those trees, they're infesting.
They're investing. Yeah, I like it.
Mississippi
Nice.
is
Solid.
infested with something.
And so
Trees,
Zach
yeah.
and I have hypothesized that for a reasonable budget, using cars and parts found on eBay Motors, that we can each build an enthusiast vehicle into a better crossover than what has
I love that.
been
Yes.
than what is on the market today. And so we bought some cars.
How old are these cars? Can you tell me that?
They're around 10 years old.
Okay,
Around
yeah.
10
See that,
years
yeah.
old. Depreciated.
Yeah.
So we found some cars.
Definitely.
We found a lot of parts on eBay Motors. We shipped the cars to Texas, as you do.
Of course.
To the Rally Ready Driving School, to Texas Dave.
Dave.
We're having the cars modified. We found a workshop and cued the music. And they're
you throw
modifying
wrenches
the
at each
cars.
other?
Yeah.
Man, if
And,
we don't get this done in time for the auction, we don't get paid.
Yeah.
And after SEMA,
While getting
we're going to
paid.
meet in Texas for a series of challenges.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we've rented racetracks. We've rented rally stages.
That sounds awesome.
We've bought
It's
a bunch
gonna
of
be
silly
awesome.
shit.
Hell yeah. That
So
sounds great.
stoked.
It's
So
going to be very
stoked.
fun.
Yeah.
And eBay Motors is paying for all of it.
Hell yeah.
That's the best part.
So the Smoking Tire in December, we will have a video series that is a Zach versus Matt shitbox challenge.
Perfect.
It'll be fucking
I'll have
good.
to check that out.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
The spines be damned.
Yeah, we're going to fucking break ourselves.
So that means jumping.
I won't say no.
Okay.
Won't say-
I mean-
Rally Ready has a jump.
Oh, I know Dave well.
It'd be
Yeah.
silly for us not to use
Okay,
it.
awesome.
Did you see the FD final, by the way?
Oh, I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
I mean,
did.
Frederick. Shout out
He's
to
a beast.
Frederick.
Yeah,
he's a
Oswald's a
fucking
monster.
beast.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
watched his runs. They were amazing.
Yeah, boy can drive for
Yeah,
sure.
he's fucking good. And that, I mean, god damn, is he fucking good?
He's good. Papadakis can build a wild
Yeah.
car.
He was
he's
so
the best.
great on the show too. We got to get Steph back on the show.
Yeah, I
He
love
was
Steph.
great.
Steph is somehow underappreciated. I mean, he's such an innovator.
Because no one can pronounce his name.
Papadakis, whatever. No, Steph's great. He's a brilliant dude. He helped me. He actually put a motor program together when we were doing our Scion. I was like, hey, this thing has fuck all for power band. He's like, do X, Y, and Z. Also, fuck it. He's like, send it to me. I'll do it. I'm like, all right,
awesome.
done. So he did it, transformed the whole powertrain. It worked awesome. He's incredible. And yeah, they do a great job. And Osbo can drive his ass off.
Did you see Steph's Instagram? He bought a 2-door RAV4 he's doing like some kind of build with.
I
like
did
a
not.
Yeah.
First gen 2-door
It's
RAV4.
on rims.
Yeah,
He
it's on-
posted it, and I was like,
it's on
"This is a
big
joke,"
rims.
and it's not a joke. He took it
love it.
off-roading with
Hell
the
yeah.
rims.
I mean, first gen RAV4
They put it on Trophy Burrow.
Yeah, my buddy's got one with a 3S GTE swapped in it or something. It bolts right in, apparently.
There's a dude who DMs me about once a month and builds crazy RAV4s. He's like, you got to drive this thing. It's got like twin turbos and shit. I was like, I don't even know what to do
Gotta
with that.
drive it.
But yeah, I watched FD,
Look at that thing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wait,
You know what that looks
go
like?
to the other one. Go to
that
the
looks
other
like
one.
modern like Camry TRD wheels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He's got
Those
three-wheel
wheels are
motion.
those are too
going.
big.
Yeah.
Those are not camera wheels.
That is a stiff. No, it's not.
Dude, those 2-door RAVs first gens are underappreciated, I think.
Didn't they do a convertible?
Oh,
as
yes.
well?
Oh, yes. There was.
Little Wrangler.
Look at that thing.
Oh my god,
It looks like
No
Pixar
overhangs.
come to life.
It does,
dude. It's
yeah.
so
it
silly.
really does.
Yeah.
Like Suzuki X90
Yeah,
versus
it's in that.
two-door
It's in
RAV.
like it's like a Via Cross almost. It's almost that wild.
Oh my god, you remember the Via Cross?
Hell yeah.
Oh, there was one at the one of your crew has.
Yeah, my
Oh
new
my God.
producer has one.
Really?
It's nasty.
Oh,
It's
dude.
got a winch in the front.
Is there a
It's lifted
picture?
up.
The thing's killer.
It's killer.
It's
yeah,
got
yeah.
like a bolt-on metal triangle front end because there's nowhere to put a winch
Yeah,
on a cross.
it's cool.
It's insane.
The part, yeah, he drives all the time.
I got a
David
picture of him.
Silverman.
David
Yeah,
Silverman?
Silverman, the B.
Silberman,
Oh,
yeah.
Silberman. All right, we'll
Yeah.
find
Yeah,
out.
he's a Top Gear guy who came over to Hot Rod Garage.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
Oh,
great.
Of course he would have a
He's
Via
got
Cross.
95 cars because he like bought everything from Top Gear. It's great.
That's so funny.
Hang on, Matt, you got-
That's-
I-
no, this person likes
That's a
Jesus.
book. That's a different guy.
This is just a photo.
Look, man, I'm Googling.
This
I'm
is a
just-
photo on my
Go to the
phone,
next
so
one, go to
it's
the next
no
one.
good. But
Yeah,
like,
Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
a beast Via Cross.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not fucking around.
no,
Look
he's
at
not
that
at
thing.
all. Yeah, I don't know how to get a picture.
Bro,
of
when
it.
I was working at car dealers, we took one of these things on trade. It sat forever.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was
Why-
impossible.
yeah, this
yeah.
is wild.
Impossible to sell. But that one is beast. It's on big ass
Whoa.
rims.
Yeah, they're
Not big
cool.
rims,
They're
big
cool.
tires. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, oh, they're like 15s. I mean, look at that.
Why hasn't Arctic Trucks made a fucking dent into the U.S. yet? By the way, why aren't they selling kits in the U.S.
Well, they
yet?
mostly
Arctic
they
Trucks?
Out of Iceland.
Oh man.
So
You ever seen them?
I'll tell
It's
you
like
why.
when Top Gear drove to the North Pole.
Oh yeah, those are sick.
Yeah,
that red
they're
thing.
all- yeah, they're amazing.
What's it?
Well, a couple reasons why.
Tacoma, right?
One is they mostly do
Hilux, excuse me.
non-US Toyotas, so
Right.
they do like Prados, which are Lexus GXs. So they
Well, they have
They do
kits. They got a
vans and
Land
shit,
Cruiser
though.
kit. They've
Yeah.
got the Lexus GX kit, and they have a Econoline van kit.
oh
and Sprinter kits.
They also do that thing where they take an Excursion and bolt it to the back of an F450, so
I'm
it's like a
listening, yeah.
6-door, like it's a 6-door monster tour vehicle with 50-inch balloon tires.
They have
So-
the-
so
they have
that's-
some dope builds. You
Yeah.
got to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
the. They had Tacomas.
That Tacoma's
yeah, Tacomas,
wild.
FJs.
What I
Isn't
love
that
there-
They're
shit?
so look at the size of it.
Dude,
That's so
they are
much
the
tire on
I
it.
know. Like,
That's-
how has
that's
that
why I
not
like that.
made it into the
I
U.S.
like
yet?
that.
Because that's not even you can't even rock crawl. That's just for snow. It has
Yeah.
no other function but snow.
I don't
Look
even.
at this.
I think this people would
Sprinter
do this-
van.
Yes,
Wow.
the Sprinter.
That's so they get
sick.
sick. So they do
Oh,
glacier
that's
tours
good.
with that stuff.
Yeah.
See if you can find the Excursion bolted to an F450. It's the greatest. It's a 6-door. It's they take
It's
it
like those excursion like limos, like those
Yeah.
old airport limo
yeah,
excursions.
except they leave the dually part on the back. So they leave the
Looks
F450 rear, and it's 6 doors,
That's
and
nuts.
it's for like a tour group to go on the glacier and bring like tons of gear with them.
Oh yes, look at that.
Holy shit!
Yeah,
that's just big rims. No, you got to go for Arctic trucks.
trucks.
Because that's just big rims. That's like a limo version.
Yeah.
Well, what,
We need the
is that like
off-road
that's a
version.
dually SUV I'm looking at?
Yeah. Oh yes, there we go.
Oh wow.
See, that's one without a cap on it. It looks sick.
Yeah.
These things are so cool. I can't believe they haven't made it into the U.S.
You would
yet.
think they
Like,
would eat that up.
I think
man.
somebody
Some
would be
kid
a
in Florida is going to
distributor
give you
for that.
$100,000 for that, right?
But
At least.
they're just
And
snow
never-
tires.
he'll
Oh,
drive
they're
on the
right.
beach.
That's-
Let him drive on the
look at that.
beach.
It
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
great.
Oh my
It
God.
looks so good.
Yeah.
But so it's just snow tires.
I want that to roll up to the club. Oh, there, the white
the
one,
white
bottom
one,
right,
that's it. Six-
bottom
six
right,
door,
Zach.
six door,
That's
six
it.
door. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah,
That
the
looks
proportions are right.
amazing.
The
Yeah.
proportions are right because on a super lifted giant truck these days, they
Six
just can't get
doors
enough
works.
tire in there. It
Yeah, you
doesn't
need
look
that
good.
kind of tire.
You need that kind of tire.
Because nothing bums me out more than a giant lifted truck, huge wheel, small tire.
Right.
That's the
Yeah.
worst look in the world. Oh, it kills me.
These things are all over
That's sick.
Iceland, dude.
Yeah. Well, you
Everybody's
need 'em.
rolling.
You
Well,
need
what
'em.
could you not do with? I mean, like, that's a
But
monster, dude.
here's the thing: it's for driving through 20 inches of snow. You get
Yeah.
44-inch tires. That's
Yeah,
what
They go
they're
down to
for.
like 4 psi.
Perfect.
Yeah.
They super air down.
they're
for that
amazing.
cool.
I've
Yeah.
seen it,
Or
but
like,
I-
let's drive it down Las Vegas on the strip.
That's what
Whatever.
I would
That
do
too.
with it.
Yeah,
But
sure.
I've seen them get stuck. I mean, Iceland. I was there one time. I got so much snow. Those fucking things got stuck.
scary.
And we had to get a tractor. And the tractor had 7 foot tall tires.
Yeah, yeah.
It got stuck. So like, okay, we're gonna go get chains for the tractor. If not, we'll sleep
We
in the
need a
car.
tank. Wow.
And it worked. It worked. The chains on the tractor was able to plow the road. It was fucking nuts. It
Yeah.
was fucking nuts.
How is that not? But if you took that 2-door RAV and did an Arctic Trucks
I'm listening.
build,
First of all,
Just
that
until
engine.
the tires need to be big enough that they come this close
It would
together.
look like a roller
Until
skate.
they're almost touching.
But that engine couldn't even spin that tire.
You got to put a new engine in, and then you can do the electric
Oh,
engine.
yeah.
Touche.
Papadakis
Touche.
knows a thing or two about building the motor.
yeah,
He'll get
dude,
it done.
Papadakis could put a Formula Drift 4-cylinder in
Yeah,
that
making
thing.
1,100 horsepower.
Spin them
Fun.
shits.
Get the ZZ6, whatever the fuck.
You
Yeah.
can spin them shits right up. But back to FD, Dye is retiring.
Yeah.
Vaughn
too.
is taking a break, which
Same thing.
might be
Same.
retiring.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a proper end of an era.
Yeah, I talked to both of them.
Yeah.
You know, it is what it is. A lot of day one guys are moving on.
It's been like
Vaughn.
17, 18 years.
Yeah,
they've been
I
in
was
the
there
sport.
day one
Yeah.
18 years ago. We all did it for a long time. Dye, you know, I think Vaughn has just done a really great job of sort of expanding, building a name and a legacy in a business. You know, he's got a ton of things going on.
Yeah. The
FD
side by
people don't
side.
understand,
He's
like,
got the Mustang.
He's got the
builds
Mustang. He's doing a ton of off-road racing. He's got RTR as a brand, which is doing like now they're into Broncos, they're into F-150s, they're into the Mustangs. They're doing a ton of stuff.
Is he selling a bunch of cars?
He's not selling. I think he's selling mostly. You know, you can
Oh,
get it through the
selling
dealers
kits.
now.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can get it
It's
through
a
the dealer,
dealer
which is
installed.
huge. Look, Vaughn is my boy, but he's always been the shrewdest one out of like all our Drift Alliance dudes. He's like a Carroll Shelby, in my opinion, to be
Yeah.
honest, because he's like just making those moves. He's put himself in a position to like just do all these
He's
different
always
things.
had that head. Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
Like he comes off as like wild, but it's not really.
he's shrewd.
real.
He's great, but he's great.
I mean, it's like he's fun.
He's
like,
fun,
it's
but he's
not-
getting it done. Yeah,
He's getting it done.
Yeah,
I've always
so-
respected his hustle. Is
Yeah,
really
he's got a
fucking
monster
real.
hustle, and
Yeah.
he's got a vision, and he's getting it done. So yeah, I think I'm not worried about him in the least. I just think that people don't understand, like, even if FD is just 8 weekends a year, you're talking about that, plus like practice, testing, dialing the car in, but also like what it puts on you mentally about like showing up and banging with like the nastiest dudes there are. It's a lot. And I think he did it. You know, I don't think it made sense to do it forever. So he's taking a step and he's doing other things. I think everyone wants a
Also,
new challenge.
athletes retire. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's just the way of
Well,
the
and
world.
we had, Forsberg was in here last week.
Okay.
And he was talking about, what he's doing is he's running a whole team now.
Yeah.
And he's expanding into grip driving
Yep.
with World Challenge and
With another driver, yeah,
with
someone else-
another-
yeah,
he had
He's also
multiple
doing
other
that
drivers.
He's got a
pivot.
bunch of drivers,
Yeah,
Yeah,
making
so
a team.
he's trying to be moving into a team owner position
Yeah.
with other drivers underneath him.
where the real money is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure,
something.
and
Yeah.
Nissan factory support and all this kind of stuff, and so I think as these dudes, start to hit
Yeah,
40 or
everyone's
whatever,
40. It's
you
just
gotta
time to,
go.
like,
you're
start
going,
thinking
"Oh,
about what's next."
What's the next move?
And I think they're both, Chris is, I grew up with Chris, so like we're both from Doylestown.
Yeah.
Our parents were a mile apart, so like we've known each other since we were teenagers. Chris is doing a great job. He's doing Vaughn is off and sort of like building cars. Vaughn is really in like taking a shot to do like things in sort of the whole automotive sphere. Like he's
Yeah.
really doing things. But Chris is doing team owner stuff. And then Dye, I think, was just like, I want to race. I want to do these things. I've done this. Look, man, like competition, it's really when you go like, I want to drive with the best guys in the world, and you do it for 5 or 6 years, and you want to go like, what am I made out of? Can I hang with these guys? Am I worth a damn? You know what I mean? Every guy I mentioned is a world
World-class
champion.
driver.
Not
Yeah.
even that. They're all FD champions.
Yeah,
Di,
yeah.
Chris, Vaughn. They've all done it. So like, I think they're all just looking for new things. And,
And Chris was talking about also diminishing returns with the cars. You know, now they keep adding the cars get more and more
Holy
powerful.
fuck, they cost so
but
much money,
So
dude.
much money, but not that much more fun to drive.
No.
And it doesn't necessarily improve the competition.
Yeah,
It
the last
just-
time I drove was
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
And those cars are so much. I can drive them for about an hour and a half in testing, and I go like, I'm done. I've got nothing left.
Right,
this is
right,
so. Things happen so quickly. Things are so intense, and like they've now ramped it up another 8 years.
Yeah, Forsberg was talking about 1,200 wheel.
1,200 wheel. Things happen. Things happen so incredibly fast.
Yeah.
Is the driving any more fun to watch than it was in 2010? I don't really know. I don't know. And
From an
it's-
audience perspective, it's tough to tell the difference.
It's tough to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And guys used to be glued on each other's doors, and they're still that way. But it's not.
But Chris was saying the cars are much twitchier now.
They're much harder to
They're
drive.
harder
It's
to
no-
drive, and from
Yeah.
the audience perspective, it's not that much different.
different, yeah. And it's not fun to drive an F. It's not nearly. It used to be like, you throw it and you're like surfing this thing in,
Yeah.
and it's all feel and it's all vibe, and you're like, I'm gonna lock this fucking thing in. But now the threshold of grip is so enormously high. The cars are so gripped up. You are on throttle or you are on the brakes. It's constant input, and they're very twitchy.
Yeah.
And again, like I haven't driven a 2021 Pro car, but I can just tell you what I've seen in the progression is like it's not nearly as fun to drive those cars. And it's just so much work and so much money that like I can imagine it. I look, Chris
said that he wished there was a cap down at like 800 or something.
I'd buy that.
Because to get from 800 to 12, there's diminishing returns for the drivers, diminishing returns for the audience.
fans, yeah.
The cost is enormous.
Exactly.
And the cars aren't even really going any faster.
Yeah, it's really
Can
hard
the-
to quantify that.
Can the judges notice a difference?
No, I mean essentially like if you're the new dickhead with 1,200 horsepower and I have
right.
to stay on your door, then I've got to be the next guy in line,
Right.
and you do too, and we all kind of keep up with the Joneses. And when I was FD, I was I wrote the rule book and I was the head tech inspector or whatever, and my whole thing was like I want parity, I want driving to be the number one thing that shows off. Like, look, Chris is, in my opinion, bar none, the best American driver. Period. It doesn't.
He's
Chris
spectacularly
is
talented.
outrageously talented at driving, and it's super
And
annoying.
consistent.
He's a fucking robot.
He's a
Chris is a
robot.
beast. So if you but like, I love Matt Field, I love Chelsea DeNova. Those guys are monsters in their own right, absolutely. But the point is like, I want the sport should go like, hey, this is a car, but the better driver in a worse car should be able to beat you, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Driving should be paramount. It should be the pinnacle. Like, holy fuck, this kid is amazing. Because when Osbo came out, he was in a beater. It was a Supra, MK4 Supra, but
yeah.
it was a fucking beater.
Yeah.
I mean, it was hopes and dreams, right? And he was come out and like really show his stuff. And if a kid can't do that now, if a kid can come out in a $40,000 car and bang with these dudes in $500,000 cars, like, what has this sport become? It's become another fucking. It's every other form of racing.
Well,
where-
it's an arms race right
it's
now. And
every
I feel
other
like
form of racing where you have to have $1 million and you have to have the best top shit. And it's gotten to a point where I'm like, and I'm sure Chris is feeling this and everyone else is. And I don't think that's why Vaughn or Dyer are stepping away. I think they've sort of
They've
graduated.
just been
They've
there.
just graduated
They've done that so
out.
many
Yeah.
times, yeah. And they're not adding a lot of new tracks. It's
Yeah.
not like the sport is drastically different
I
other
agree.
than the cars.
I agree. If I owned FD, which I don't, and Sage and Jim are fantastic, but like I would have almost every year done something to push the progression of the sport to make it more fun.
City circuit.
Yeah, city
Some
circuit.
weird
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Forget about tandem. Let's make it a video game, and like you have to hit these things with proximity sensors to make points. Like,
Yeah.
look, kids love being wild asshole
like the Red-
drivers.
the Red Bull
like
Drift
that's
series,
not
right?
slowing down.
Yeah.
Sideshows and like quantify that. Go like, hey, slide under this. Like Mad Mike did a thing in Australia years ago. It was literally like a video game scoring.
Really?
And they
Yep,
were like,
it was
slide
cool.
under this semi and hit this point and hit
See,
this.
that's cool.
And they were like, bang, bang, bang. And things like ringing off like a Sonic the Hedgehog
Really? Oh,
fucking
that's
game.
cool.
And you're like, boom.
Mad
that's
Mike,
cool.
he knows what he's doing, that guy.
Agreed.
Mad Mike is cool.
Yeah.
I met him once for 30 seconds. He couldn't have been nicer.
He's great, too.
He was the nicest,
He's
kindest
great.
person.
His girl is great. They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great follow on Instagram.
Yeah. He's a good. Yeah. He's got a couple million. And like what I loved about Mad Mike is that he came out, and to be quite frank, he was the king of Australia or New Zealand, but like in Formula D at the time was and still does. That's the gnarliest level there is. Period. Right? And he was a little bit outclassed the first year. He wasn't making 32. He wasn't making even the big days a couple times. Right? But that dude turned his level up as a 30-year-old dude to get that much better at driving is almost impossible. And I saw him do it and go like, "Fuck, this is the upper echelon. This is the peak." And he just came out every year better and better and stronger. And like now, he's a really world-class driver.
It would be really, I mean, this is just my opinion, but it would be cool, like you said, like to go video game scoring.
Yeah.
If they integrated what they've done with the FPV droning.
Yeah, that shit's so cool.
If they did like a Canyon Toge
Great.
event.
Agreed.
It would be so fucking wild card and awesome. And with drones and helicopters, you could really make it a virtual spectator sport.
Totally.
It would be incredible.
I'm with you 100%.
It would be incredible.
I think they're like a little bit afraid to make huge sweeping changes. And I'd go like, hey, let's go run the fucking West Side Highway in New York. Into some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Or like, let's go up Mulholland with everybody. And like,
speaking of which, quick sidebar: if you play Assetto Corsa virtually, racing sim, one of my this dude I speak with, he goes by Phoenix. He does these mods for Assetto Corsa. He did the Angeles Forest. He made the Angeles Forest in Assetto Corsa. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. He did it last year. It's incredible. I would get drunk at my friend Nick's house and drift Countach on Angeles Crest Highway. Incredible. Absolutely perfect. He just did a 14-mile section of PCH through Big Sur that you can play in Assetto Corsa. And I just watched the screen video. It's absolutely
like he
incredible.
modeled the whole thing?
He modeled the whole thing.
Shit.
The surfaces are beautiful. The whole thing is beautiful. Google Phoenix mods Big Sur
Do you
PCH.
play simulators?
I don't.
I don't have one. My friend has one.
I'm
I fuck
so
around once in a while.
bad at it.
It's not like something I gravitate towards.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I appreciate the PCA.
see if there's some screenshots.
Years ago,
It looks that's Angeles Forest for sure. I don't know if it's up yet.
years ago, I was at the Nürburgring, and
There it is.
They had
Phoenix
like
Mods Pacific Coast V1. That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like it looks
That's pretty
beautiful. Big Sur.
that looks like
And you can-
Malibu. But anyways,
No, that's the Big Sur. It's Big Sur.
Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, years ago I was at the Nürburgring, and my film crew, video crew, they're all young guys, and they had a bunch of like simulators next to the hotel, and we're like playing the simulators, and I'm crashing on the out of the pit maneuver. I can't do it. But I drove the Nürburgring the next day for real, pretty damn good. You know what I mean? Like
We're the wrong age.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. We're better at real driving than we are at sim
It
driving.
I
doesn't
think there's a
super
bit of a
interest
learning
me.
curve, but-
yeah.
It doesn't either.
I mean, I would do if
So-
I was racing and they were like, "Here's a new track." I'd watch videos, or I would drive it.
But
Yeah.
you know Misha. I don't know if you know Misha Mansour, but Misha,
Yeah.
you do. Tony does it, but he's like, I practice like at home, and he's gotten better, but he's also driving on real roads. But like,
Right.
he's gotten to be a very good driver, and he's like, it's the sim, and I'm like, I
well,
think it's
this
the driving.
dude Brian
No, it's probably-
Heitkotter, right? Yeah, Brian Heitkotter, who is on Team Forsberg, who is their World Challenge driver.
Oh, he's the grip driver. Yeah, he's
the
supposed to be
grip
badass.
driver. But
Yeah,
he
yeah.
came up through that GT Academy.
That's right.
They
Yeah,
got
yeah.
him out of sim racing, and now he's doing
Okay,
real cars.
okay.
And so he was really talking about the virtues of learning with the sim. And I've heard kind of both sides of it, but
Yeah.
Like
apparently
our friend Corey Burns, he does sim a lot. He plays Assetto Corsa a lot, and he went and did a drift day with Naoki, and he hadn't done drifting in like 6 years, and the skills translated. It's
Yeah.
like if you
It's
have the right
interesting
setup,
for sure. I mean, I
Yeah.
think like basic. My thing is like the tactile feel. I'm a very much a feel driver. I like to feel what's going on. I want to see the outlay.
Yeah.
So
Me
I don't-
too.
me too.
Yeah, like so it's tough for me to
you
really.
you
get,
definitely don't get those elements, but I think what a lot of these younger people get is you do get the like brake feel, tip in, like you can play with that stuff and learn like how aggressively you should, your graph of braking should go super steep and then taper off. Like
Yeah.
they can learn good practices. And then we're talking to Brian about the G-force change, and he was like, honestly, at his level, the transition from competitive gaming, he already had like the focus locked in. He already had that endurance of like mental strain.
Yeah.
And so if you can get used to the G-force and like the danger factor, the rest of it is there. So you have, let's call it 6 out of 8 skills.
I buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I know that kid can drive his ass off.
Yeah.
And he came out of nowhere.
But
so
he also parallel to sim racing was like a multi-time autocross champ.
Okay, well,
so it's not like he had no car
I
experience.
get it.
He had the basics of cars. You know, he just had not wheel to wheel raced, and so it's a little bit different than just starting from zero.
Well,
and,
Volkswagen did that thing for a while. Didn't they do like someone I've seen, like, they're like, hey, we're going to take a regular kid who's done nothing
the
but
TDI Cup.
TDI Cup.
And they're like, let's see how guys
Most
do in real
boring
life.
race of
And
all
like
time.
people do all right. You know, it's definitely a different vibe.
My thing, and this happened. I can't remember the launch, but it was one thing where we're driving on a track all day, right? And there's no official timing, but everyone knows exactly their laps, right? Right down to the fucking 100th, you know your lap. And then at night they had a simulator, and there was guys that I was going faster than on the track who were crushing me on the quote unquote simulator.
It's not 1-to-1.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I just don't like video games.
I don't.
I'm just old.
I feel like there's no feel.
There's none.
No feel.
There's nothing. All I do is like turn a little bit and hit a wall every time.
no.
And I'm like, I never
If I
do that
go
in
to
real
race
life.
on a new track and I can get a little bit of sim time, it helps my learning curve at the new track.
Sure,
That's
exactly. That's what I'm
it
saying.
helps
I'd watch,
for me.
essentially watching a video of it, ripping around. I'm like, okay, here's where we go. But I'm with you.
Probably.
Hey,
just never
Zach,
done
do we
it.
have a bunch of Patreon questions? We do. Let's get to some of that. We've been here for a minute. We've had some whiskey. Dude, this Widow Jane, it's
Pretty good, right?
delightful.
Yeah, I like it.
that?
No, the shit, the 4 roses you gave me is also delightful.
All right.
I was just complimenting our guest on his gift. That's all.
I'm sorry. My,
Your Four Roses is
bourbon,
also
my bourbon nerd
delightful.
armor went up.
It's delightful.
The hackles on the back.
All of our questions come from our patreon.com/thesmokingtire. You must be a patron if you want to submit questions to the live stream, as well as have an ad-free experience. Get the shows as soon as they are recorded instead of waiting for Tuesday, Thursday. That is where you do it. Affordably priced.
Nice.
Our Patreon's been good. Is it, Zach, is it that highlighted one or the top one?
This is the first one that has one of their names in it.
Oh,
but,
okay,
like, we
cool.
can go to the top. It's just there's some general car stuff, but then there's some
All
stuff.
right, we'll
for
save the
Johnny.
general
Yeah.
car stuff. We'll go to the specific ones first. Jack Oberg says, Tony, whatever happened to the dual LS Impala?
Yeah. We have it still. The Twin Pala. That's
a
our
good name.
Yeah,
That's a good name.
Thank you.
How are the engines oriented?
So essentially, 2006 Impala SS has an LS. It's a LS4, turn sideways, front wheel drive motor, and I just took another. I bought a Pontiac GXP or whatever the Pontiac version is for like in the cut in North Philly for like $1,500. With dubious fucking title history. We pulled the motor and trans out of it and stuck it in the back. So we like essentially.
Oh, front and rear.
So it's got 2 engines.
That's like the Mosler Twin Star.
It's
Remember
wild.
the Twin
Yes.
Star?
So that
they
thing
put 2 North Stars.
That's exactly right. It's very similar to that, except ours are both turbocharged and it makes about 1,100 wheel
Is
or
it
something.
drivable?
Yeah, sure. It's one of the wildest cars I've ever driven.
So it's automatic gearboxes.
Automatic
right?
gearboxes. I put them both in drive.
And it's
God.
one throttle, one accelerator pedal linked to 2.
Well, they're drive-by-wire.
Drive-by-wire.
Yeah.
So how do you tune that?
You don't. I just hit the gas.
But
and then
here's
I try to steer.
so years ago there was a Lemons car. It was an MR2.
Oh, I remember
and
this
they put
one.
a Corolla motor in the front with the Corolla front wheel drive. So it was
Right.
And the guy wrote a scientific paper about it, whatever, a blog post, whatever you call it. But he's like, everybody said there's no way it's going to work. But I figured when you turn the front wheels of your car, they're going at different speeds than the back wheels, so it has to work. And I'm like, fucking genius.
Yeah, fuck it.
And I drove the thing, and it's like, it's 215 horsepower engines, but it was rad. It totally
worked?
rad.
Yeah.
The best part, though, I think the best part was that it was the MR2 was manual only.
Oh, that's
right?
not. Yeah.
And then the front wheel drive Corolla thing was an automatic. So they just had the all wheel drive gear selector zip tied to like
Holy
part of the
shit.
frame or whatever
Yikes.
unibody. So you'd put it in drive. You just pull back on the thing, put it in drive, and then you'd shift the rear motor. Wow. And it was awesome.
And there was one accelerator pedal or
one
2?
accelerator pedal. Maybe there's 2 bolts.
So
I
if
don't
you
even
went to
remember.
blip the gearbox, what would happen?
It just worked. I just like.
Well, like with Tony, if you jump on the gas and one set of tires starts peeling out,
I don't. I
What does
just
the other one
people
do?
always like, how do you sync them up? I'm like, we didn't. I don't care. Yeah.
There's no way
It
to
runs.
sync 'em.
Honestly, it's 4,400 pounds. It runs 10. I've got it down. It should run like 960 when I get it hooked up. I've got it to go 10-1 at 144 miles
Get
an
the
hour.
fuck out of here,
It's
really?
fucking insane.
10-1 is a 720S.
Yeah.
By the way,
It's wild.
720S
It's wild.
is a 10-1.
It's wild. The problem is like, so all of the normal
Holy shit.
yeah, it
Wait,
is
at 100 and what?
44.
That's 720S. Actually,
Yeah.
that's a faster
It should be
trap
quicker.
than a
It should be
720.
quicker, yeah.
720
It's
does like
wild.
139.
It is one of the wild. Like, I was like, what if? That the hope we started were like, I had the Twin Impala name. I'm like, this is stupid. We were building LS motors, and there were all these ones that nobody wanted because they're front wheel drive. You can't do anything with them, and you can't. There's like shorter crank and different accessory drive. There's no point in them. And I was like, but they're front wheel drive, and like I could just put another one in the back. And then we did. And we eventually did. And then we put turbos on it, and it's one of the but it
They're
legitimately
both turbos?
both turbos. 2 turbo V8s in a regular stupid in like your grandma's Impala.
That's hilarious.
And
Does
it-
it looks stock on the
It
outside?
was pretty stock looking, yeah,
That's very
and it
cool.
pulls like a freight train. I mean, it's pulling. The whole point is like, no matter what you do, it just feels like it's pulling in different directions, but you are going.
Oh, wow. It really does look like fucking pretty much nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it looks like a regular
It's got
old Impala.
1,000 wheel horsepower.
Can you put one in forward and one in drive?
You can, yeah,
Yeah, or one in reverse, I
yeah.
mean.
It'll do whatever you want. But yeah, so it's wild. But we're gonna get it dialed in. We have to do. The problem is that like we just whipped it together. And it has hugely like compliant subframe bushings, and I even set it up so like we could dial in the anti-squat in the back. And we're trying to get it to work, but we're fighting all of this rubber. So we're gonna eventually take all the rubber out of it, stiffen all the mounts, dial it in, align it, and it should run 950s.
My favorite thing about it is that it's got those fucking window covers.
Yeah,
Oh,
window-
to keep the rain out
rain
when,
guards.
when
It's
you
got
have to
the
lower
rain
the
guards.
window.
it's like there's a motor back there.
Oh
which
my
is
God.
by
It's
the
like
way,
an F40. What are you talking about?
that's a total East Coast thing. Like no one on the West Coast.
You
has
know
ever
what that
seen
was?
those.
Straight up, dude. I had them back in the day on my drug dealer, Mercury Mountaineer.
Yeah.
Because I needed to smoke cigarettes and I had to crack my window.
Oh,
in
you're
the
talking about the
rain.
window vents?
The window
I
guards.
kept
No,
those.
that's-
It came with those.
But that's
Yeah.
what are they called? They're like for
You
the
could
Jersey
flick-
Turnpike.
You could flick it
So
out
you
the
can
little.
flick your
yeah.
cigarette out the
But
rain
it's
with-
also the Jersey Turnpike, so you have to, you're paying a toll every quarter mile. You got
Yeah.
to keep the window down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, when you used to smoke grits, you'd fucking flick them out the thing and not get wet
It is.
in the winter.
It is not. I was like, essentially, it just started as like a what if stupid project, and they're like, like 2 years after, I'm like, I want to build this thing, and they were like, dirt every day, did a dual engine car, and the blah blah blah, and I'm like, just let me do this fucking. Can you just let me do this fucking car?
Because everything's the same.
Everything's the same, and I'm
I
like,
love how TV
their
thinks,
car
yeah.
sucks, and I love
Right.
Fred and Dave, but like your car didn't do anything.
Every time, this is not to just piss on Motor Trend, but like I'm like, I want to do this Bentley story. They're like, Bentley's perform poorly, and I'm like, every time we do it, and I'm like, look it up. They're like, okay, there's one Bentley story that did really well. Who wrote it? Well, you wrote it. I'm like, oh, so do you think maybe
we should
Yeah.
lean into this.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you look, there's 2 motors there's 2 turbos in the back. If you click on
Oh
that
yeah, there's
picture.
that fucking wow.
Tony, you're a fucking genius.
Thank you.
I like that if
This
you
is
go to
amazing.
a car show with this, you instead of popping
Right.
your hood, you
We've
pop
done
the
it.
trunk.
We took it to LS Fest
You
and
pop
flipped it
the
around, and we're like,
pop the
pop it
trunk.
up. People
Yeah,
were like,
it
what
rules.
the fuck? One of my favorite things is we took it to Maple Grove. I live pretty close to Maple Grove, which is a pretty storied racetrack, drag strip.
Yep.
And they looked, the tech guy didn't get out of the fucking booth. He stuck his head and he goes, what's that thing gonna run? I was like, 11s maybe? He goes, psh. He's like, you got your helmet? I was like, yup. He goes, all right, you're good. And he said, man, he didn't even fill out it. He didn't look at the car.
That's rad.
And we drove it up. We drove it into the staging
so
lanes on a
funny.
Tuesday night or something, and everyone's got a 57 Chevy that's like, rack, 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 rack. And we're like this. It's LS.
And Idle's probably pretty smooth,
We don't even
right?
have cams in there. Nothing.
right.
It's like,
Dude.
whirr, and nobody would fucking look at it.
Did you just run one motor through tech?
No,
You
I
turn
drove
off-
it. He
you
didn't
turn off the
care.
back
I
That's
end?
what
couldn't.
that's the move.
I couldn't get this guy's attention. I was like, "Can I get in?" He goes, "Sure, I don't care. Do you have your helmet? Go." He's like, "Hit the track."
Nice.
So I pull up. There's like 57 Chevys. There's rowdy Camaros, Cudas. It's Maple Grove on a Thursday night. And people would not look at this car. I was like
is
pointing. I'm
so
like, "There's a motor in the back."
funny.
Nothing.
Yeah, they thought
And then
you
we
were
hit the
setting
track. We ran
cones
like
out.
1040, and people were like, "What the fuck?"
That's what happened with the Ferrari.
It's the same thing. They were like,
literally wouldn't look at it.
guys, they were like this. They were like, "What the
Yep.
shit?" And the next time we came around, they were like, "Everyone's fucking in the back."
Yep.
They're going, "What is happening?"
Yep, I've been there. Different car.
Oh my
but
God,
I've
that,
been
that
there.
And,
shot
that
right
car-
there of the back door open and the motor is just where the back seat was. That rules.
You should
That
drive.
is
Honestly, you should all.
I would love to have a
You
go.
should drive it. It's one of.
I gotta
it
have
feels
a go.
like a freight train.
I gotta have a go on
wild.
that. That fucking rules. That's the coolest.
But that's literally like what a 720S does.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Which is insane.
It's amazing.
And honestly, we have like 20 grand in this. Like maybe.
All right, Zach, what do we got next there,
awesome.
buddy?
Wow.
That rules. Yeah, that was a good question.
And again, they were like, no one's going to want to watch this. I'm like, it's going to be.
It's going to run.
outrageous.
We're going to get kicked out of the track.
Yeah, like
for
they're going to go,
too
what
fast."
the fuck?
Procrastinate. Johnny, 2 questions. One, does it annoy you when people spell your name with an H?
Yes, that's the
Yeah, it
goyish
does.
way to spell it.
People
Yeah.
spelling names wrong is bad. It annoys me when people spell my name with 2 R's because that goddamn celebrity had to do it. No, Farrah Fawcett.
Oh, fair.
To be fair, Johnny with no H is odd, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
But and also Johnny, what's your favorite
Oh, God.
bourbon you can currently get in most decent liquor stores that isn't super scarce? So allocate it or
Can
or
I
allocate-
can I just snob out here? Like I don't drink
Please,
bourbons
lay
that
it on me.
cheap.
Oh, wow.
yawn?
Yeah, no. I honestly, for under 200, you can get a nice Four Roses barrel pick most places. Four Roses, because their normal product is so bad, they haven't climbed up the super geek scale yet. I mean, the people that know, but anyway. So if you can find a barrel proof Four Roses, that's good. Also, there's this new company, Nashville Barrel.
I just saw that in
Whoa.
Venmo. People are hyped on
Dude,
it.
really?
Nashville
That's what's up?
Barrel is. So I brought it in a million times, but there's this stuff called Smooth Ambler.
Oh, you've brought that before.
Yeah, Old
Yeah,
Scout
yeah,
by
yeah.
Smooth Ambler.
Yeah.
And what they do is there's this company in Indiana called MGP, and MGP makes like that. So all that stuff about the New
This
York.
is the MGP.
I guarantee it's MGP. If it's there's no one's actually
This
making
says bottled by Willow Jane
bottled
Distillery,
by.
Brooklyn, New York. Oh,
it doesn't say
bottled by.
distilled. It's because it's distilled in Indiana.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Reviving
Yeah.
the lost art of marrying the finest whiskeys. That's
they're
there's your
blending.
ass-
They're
okay.
just blending. Yeah,
Okay.
there's no
it's
New
pretty
York.
solid.
There's no New York in there. It's pure Indiana.
It
Anyhow,
says blend on the front. They're not
no,
bullshitting.
no.
It says blend on the
but
front.
you notice it doesn't say distilled in New York. It
No,
says,
for sure.
Yeah, blend.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay.
so but
Which,
all.
by the way, all the HUDs and stuff, I'm not.
well, HUD is actually made. HUD is disgusting. HUD,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
awful.
worst. That's
Awful.
the worst. Yeah, don't even talk. Okay.
Did I
Okay.
give you? Did I give you
Just
the
saying, New
Taconic
York, not a
Distillery?
fan. Sorry.
Which is
Sorry,
distilled
guys.
in the Hudson Valley.
No, but I've had the Hudson Valley stuff.
Not
and
a fan.
It's just vile.
I'll get
Yeah.
you some Taconic Distillery next time. I like it. It's good. Yeah, drinkable.
So this-
$55 a bottle.
But
Okay.
long story short, all the really good shit from MGP, Smooth Ambler was getting for a while, and then MGP wanted a lot of money for the next allotment, and they're like, "We're going to pass. We're making our own now." So this really good juice went all over the place, but the people that are tasting the barrels at Nashville Barrel are some of the best in the world, and so they've kind of taken over that market, and it's super good, brand new, super under $200. Nashville Barrel.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Good tip.
That's the one.
If
I
you-
actually just saw it was like a whole rack of them locked
They're-
up at Bevmo, and they
they're
were like
amazing.
$90 or
Yep,
$80.
yep,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I'm
about
gonna
right.
try a bottle of
And
that.
I was like, all
Super
right.
good.
And I asked the guy who bought it, and he goes, the guy before me just said it was great. Like, I had no information. I was like, all right, fine.
If you're in the East Coast, because you can't get it in California, try the Taconic Distillery bourbon. I've been drinking it in the East Coast when I go and I grab a couple bottles, bring it home. It's like $55-$60 a bottle, and it's very nice, drinkable, good stuff.
Yeah.
Martin Bueno, Lieberman, lots of words. Someone's looking
The
for
Fiesta ST story, that's a good
comparison
one.
to a
Okay.
Fiesta ST.
All right, so I bought the Fiesta ST because we had it at Car of the Year. He spelled Lieberman wrong, by the way.
Well,
but we had it at Car of the Year, and it was my favorite car that I drove that year. And I drove. It was my third favorite car. I drove like a 6x6 that year and a Pagani Huayra.
Which was $500,000 and a Huayra.
$700,000,
Which
yeah.
a Huayra just $3 million. Okay.
At the time, it was only 1 point something. But and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, I gotta get a new car for my wife. And I'm like, what did I drive that was great? I'm like, 6x6. I'm like, my third best car I drove in 2014 was a Fiesta ST.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like she might want like a BMW i3, and I'm like, that thing is dorky and it sucks. I'm like, I'm just gonna go buy the Fiesta, and I just literally left work and just went and bought it. It was
Yeah.
just impulse.
Our Fiesta ST, same deal.
Yeah.
It was we got one as a press car and went, holy shit, this is rad.
That's 23 grand.
Went
fully
straight
loaded.
to the
Wow.
dealer
Yeah, went to
and got
Galpin.
one for
Yeah.
went to Galpin and got one for 6 pennies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good deal, and it was hysterical because it was like the day after some big holiday, like Memorial Day or one of them. And they were like, yeah, this was the best weekend in the history of Galpin Ford, the largest car dealer on the planet. We sold 400 cars. We didn't sell a single Fiesta FT because they're manuals. No one wanted. We have 23 to choose from. What color do you want? You know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
and same question for Martin. Tony, what is your favorite racing at the moment?
Same guy. Yeah, I would say honestly, I'm pumped on the whole F1 like kind of resurgence. Like this movement in America. I think it's really cool that people are pumped on F1.
Did you have a little bit of FOMO? Fear of missing out? Austin this
had
past
Joe.
weekend?
Yeah, everyone was pumped.
I had
saw
more
tons
friends
of
at fucking
there.
Austin
oh my
this
God.
weekend. For the first time ever, I was like, shit.
Yo,
I kind of wish I was there.
I have like regular, non as much car guys
Yeah.
friends. Like I had 2 or 3 friends. They're like, oh, I'm going to Austin, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Nope.
And then Daniel was driving Dale's old car around.
Dude,
and I'm like,
Daniel,
fuck, that's
every
tight.
single Daniel Ricciardo interview where
Yeah.
he did a southern accent was hilarious.
So yeah, I feel F1 is cool, man.
I had Super Jomo. I was like, I'm so glad I'm not there. It looks like a nightmare.
Yeah, it looked too. I mean, I'm not like it just looked really fun, and I think F1 is cool, and I think
Might have to go next
it's cool
year.
that Americans are like finally digging into like.
Well, there's
going to
be like
the
4
gnarliest.
races next year.
Yeah, right. So
gnarliest
it's
racing.
Vegas,
Miami. I want to go to Miami.
Are they doing
Miami,
Northeast or what?
Miami will be like the biggest
It's gonna be
shit
Cocaine
show.
Cowboys, dude.
Oh my god, it'll be the biggest shit. It'll be like Rio or something.
Is that a street course?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah,
retarded.
it's gonna
So
be.
funny.
It's just criminal. It's just gonna be.
It is going to be the most absurd.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But I have the highest chance of knowing somebody with a condo.
There you go,
which
perfect.
I can
or
watch
a helicopter
the
that'll
races.
just hover over. Yeah, I have a very high chance as well.
Yeah.
Or you can sit in a yacht. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
That's what's up.
Or where else are they?
Huh?
There's 4.
There's one in Vegas.
It's going to be Vegas,
Yes.
maybe New York.
All right.
But
Yeah.
probably not. Miami and maybe and then
New Yorkers just wouldn't care. They'd be so annoyed.
No.
You know what I mean? They're just like,
I can't get to the fucking
Yeah,
sandwich shop.
yeah.
It's fucking bullshit.
yeah, I need a Danish.
Dan Blum, for Tony, for the average rancher, what cars do you think make for the best first project car?
Jeez. I would
Something you want to drive when it's done.
Yeah, I mean, like, are we talking about like hot rods or regular cars? Regular cars, E36 is killer. Fox Body Mustang is super killer. That's a great car. It's honestly like
Fox bodies rule.
their rule. It's a great size. They're aged really well. You can get so many good parts. You can make them handle awesome.
Yeah.
I really like that as a first car. I would say Camaro Nova. You know what I mean? The cheapest thing you can get your hands on. The Chevy motors are great.
IROCs are still undervalued.
Yeah, I hate those things. I hate, like, look, they're just too big, they're too heavy, they're too dumb. But if you can get like 75 4th Gen Novas, they're great because they're it's all Camaro parts on an ugly body nobody wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, Fox Body is I would say
notchback
my
life.
number one. Yeah,
That
Fox Body's
notchback life
number
is
one.
fire.
Probably.
I kind of miss my Fox body once in a while. I don't miss it in terms of regret for selling it because it was a thing and I was done with it and it was time
Yeah,
to move on.
sometimes.
But I see some dope Fox bodies once in a while and I was like, those still look great.
You can get another one.
Notchbacks just look they look great to me.
Yeah,
and
I
then
mean-
they're for a muscle car.
It's
they're
so good.
small,
So small.
and you can handle really, really good.
I mean, if we're talking, I didn't even want to break it down until we're talking about 2000s BMW, modern cars. Fox Body does it all. You can make
Yeah.
it handle awesome. We just did a Griggs Racing torque arm in our 04 GT, which is essentially a Fox Body.
enormous difference, right?
Holy shit!
Yeah.
That car, we were like.
No, what is it? I'm not familiar with. What
Okay, so the car comes with a triangulated 4-link, which essentially once you body roll past here, loses all rear traction, and then you wind up killing a bunch of pedestrians.
Yeah.
So
I'm familiar.
you know
with
that part.
Yeah.
So anyway, you get rid of
That's
that.
why I'm always like, why do people like these hunks of
So
shit?
you can
No, they
bolt
can
in
handle
for
really good.
$800.
Yeah.
You toss the top arms. You bolt in this huge long third arm link, and then literally we went to Willow Springs on a track day, a public track day, and our shakedown lap. They're like, we're putting you in the Top Gun group, the Hot Boy group, and go run it. It's like kids and S2000s with cages and suits and like Advan A008s and
Yeah.
stuff. And like I hit the track and caught, like we didn't get past. Like we hung with everybody right off the bat.
Yeah.
It transformed the
impressive.
whole car.
That's cool.
On my
like-
Fox body, I did this whole Terminator IRS thing, and I
No,
did
I
it-
remember- I remember
did
your
it
car,
as like
yeah.
a thing to
Right,
do,
right,
You know,
right.
to like make a new
Right.
technology in the old car.
Yeah.
But if I was actually like giving practical advice,
Yeah.
the torque
Yeah,
arm,
sure,
wild.
sure.
If you're not driving on, only if you're driving on super bumpy roads does the IRS matter. If you're driving on reasonable
Dude,
pavement,
do you
the
remember-
torque arm is incredible.
Incredible.
Do you remember the Boss 302 from like 2012?
Yeah.
That was solid
The
axle.
solid
That's
axle
one
car.
of the best Mustangs I've ever
So
driven.
yeah, when we're
was
done, I'll
great.
let you drive our car.
Yeah.
Because it's no, I had driven it on Palomar with this original setup, and it couldn't do anything.
There you go,
It was like-
$869.
It was fine. Yeah, Griggs Racing. Yeah, and it's like
Oh, okay, I
a
see.
whole.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's,
Shout out to Maximum Motorsports
Yeah.
also. Maximum Motorsports, my boys.
yes.
They're my boys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would.
What MMR?
Huh? What?
MMR?
Yeah.
Yeah. We just put their motor in our Crown Hick. It's awesome.
They're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. Let's see. Nathan, is that where we're at? Nathan,
Yeah.
for Johnny, will ignition on Motor Trend be coming back?
No.
No. Okay.
okay. That's fair.
We've tried.
let's
There's no appetite for new car
see.
programming.
That's the end
We
of
see, that's why,
specific.
you know, like-
so now we're just to a regular question.
Go down to the bottom. I think.
Ignition. How was Ignition different than head to head?
Ignition had one car, head to head had two cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was,
Got
it was the
That's
same
fair.
show.
Same show. Got
Yeah,
it.
same host.
All right,
literally.
this is a whole
yeah.
bunch of. All right, we'll save the rest of these for our
Okay.
cruise show. We got just general car.
We know what made
advice.
me nuts is when like Camisa left, and they're like, we need another host, and I love Jethro. He's fucking
Jethro
cool.
was awesome.
He's
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
Love him, but he wasn't in the picture yet.
No.
I was like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
and they were like, no.
I floated you.
They were like, nah. They were like, I was like, I'll do it. I can
Yeah.
drive and I can talk shit.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
cares? I was like, me and Johnny, we could do it. And they were
really
like,
good.
We need somebody English.
yeah, no, they,
No.
not even that.
Trust me, Jethro was like, they're like, he lives where?
Yeah, right. So I was like, I'll do it. Like, you know, there's a whole. It was like year 2 of Hot Rod Garage, or whatever, and I was like, I can do this. And they were like, you don't have editorial credibility. And I was like, yeah, I know. So I want to do it. Like, who can you? That's the whole
Dude,
point.
I tried-
Editorial
I tried to
credibility.
do. I still don't know why it didn't happen. I tried to do that crossover. Do you remember that? We're going to do Bone Marrow
Yes!
versus
That's right.
versus like
a new Camaro.
a new I think it was ZL1.
ZL1, exactly.
And then it was going to be that him and Jethro just start drifting each other, and Tony and I get bored and go find. Lucky and I get bored and go find lunch, and he doesn't eat anything but cheeseburgers, and I'm like, let's
That's
get some
fair.
Filipino food.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a really funny episode.
we had some plans, yeah.
And they nothing. I was going to do one where it's going to be head to dirt, and it's going to be like
That would be awesome.
I was going to get
It's kind of funny,
I was going to get
actually.
a Rolls Royce Cullinan, and then they were just those two were just going to steal it, and they'd leave me and Jethro in a shop where we would put a wrench through a piece of glass and then sit down and not work, and just couldn't get it done. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're very protective of whatever.
Yeah, they need to be above the board. They can't. You can't.
I mean-
you can't wreck their titles of the show for fun. That's not. It's not
I don't
allowed.
know. Head to Dirt's a great name.
Head to
I
dirt,
think it
like
is
it.
good. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I was gonna do
Good
one.
band
I was gonna do
name.
one with like literally year 1 with Finnegan. We were gonna do Rolls Kill. I was gonna put him on a Rolls Royce.
Damn, you're
I
good at
love
coming
it.
up. You're good
Yeah,
at coming
good
up with
names.
names and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a writer. But like, imagine Finnegan in a Phantom. It writes itself.
Yeah.
Like he just takes it to a drag strip. It's got a V12. You know, it's like, and just couldn't get it done. Rolls Kill would have been the best.
Rolls Kills.
I like
good.
that.
That's a good
Yeah.
show.
but nothing like that.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for coming down, kids.
Hell yeah.
This is
Hell
good.
yeah.
That was an hour and 45 of radio.
Holy hell.
I saw
Fucking flies
people.
by,
People were
doesn't it?
asking for 2 hours on my Instagram.
Oh, do you want to do another? We got questions. You
I'll
want to
do
do another 15
15.
minutes?
yeah,
Just to go.
I got to
two?
finish this. You know.
It's not like Zach has to
fact,
get
I'll
home
do
to his
one more.
girl or nothing.
Nope, she's out of town.
Is she? Oh, she
Yeah.
went to the launch, didn't she?
Yeah.
Oh, can we talk about that? We can't talk about that, can we?
She works at SpaceX now.
Zach's girl
Yeah.
has been at Snapchat for
3 years.
many years and got a new job at SpaceX and has got a fucking important job. She deserves it. She's very smart. She's a very hard worker. She deserves it. She got a really important job at
what they
SpaceX.
do.
As I told Zach, I'm like, don't tell Matt.
Oh, the number of deals.
I have no problem with SpaceX.
Yeah.
I have no problem with SpaceX.
Same CEO that you're obsessed with.
He's not the CEO.
I was wrong. He's not the COO. He is the CEO of SpaceX. He's not
well,
COO. President.
I don't care, but you know why? Because they don't put dangerous things on the street.
Okay.
I put him in space.
You know, Spike was here last week, and over a series of about 15 minutes of questions, I got him to admit that autopilot and FSD is incredibly dangerous.
Super dangerous.
He only likes it because it's a toy that he has,
Oh, yeah.
and he doesn't want it to be taken away, but it really should be because it's incredibly dangerous.
I've been saying longer than I think almost any journalist, like, that shit don't work. It's driven me off the road several times.
Yeah,
What
Like,
is there? I don't understand that. Like they won't do lidar, right? Like you
No,
have
they-
it.
Well, they had it. They got rid of it, but I don't think it was hooked up. But
No, they had radar.
Yeah,
They never had
Listen, if you're
lidar.
gonna have
Yeah.
this auto
But
driving thing,
But it just didn't. I mean, except for Cadillac system, in my experience, none of them actually work. None of them can actually go longer than 10 minutes without smashing into something or trying to.
The
smash
most
into something.
dangerous thing about the Tesla system is that you can turn it on anywhere.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
Not it's
Yeah,
not
Cadillac is
geofenced.
freeway only, which is
freeway
rad.
only,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not
Yeah.
even all freeways.
Right,
It's-
right,
it's
right. It's gotta be a
geofenced
major freeway,
to
yeah.
the most safe places where you can
yeah,
use
that makes
it.
perfect
Yeah, yeah,
sense.
yeah.
And Tesla's is not. Now, but have you? We haven't talked about this yet, but our I can call her our friend. Can I call her our friend?
Who?
Our friend Dr. Missy Cummings.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Dr. Missy Cummings, who
Yeah.
did an unbelievable 2 hours of
She's
radio
awesome.
with
Yeah,
us
yeah,
on
yeah.
this show.
Yeah, yeah.
Go listen to this show. She is a genius. She was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fighter pilot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
She is the director of human-machine interaction at Duke University.
Okay.
She was just named as a special advisor to NHTSA.
Wow.
By Secretary Buttigieg.
Buttigieg,
Okay.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
is really exciting because she is so level-headed about what is about the processes of automation. She's not anti self-driving cars. She's pro self-driving cars,
But that
she's-
work and are safe.
Yeah.
but pro safety.
Yeah.
Which
I just look. The shame of it is, people need to say self-driving cars will happen in 20 years. The
Yeah.
technology is so far away from actually working 100% of
Yeah.
the time. It's 20 years away.
Yeah, yeah.
It's 20 years away.
and so to say that
safely.
So her criticisms and our criticisms are easily spun into anti-Tesla.
It's all by the guys that own stock. It's all by the
yeah.
guys that own the fucking
Yeah,
stock.
I mean the whole thing is driven by nonsense. You know what I
Well,
mean?
no,
Like,
it's by the fact that Tesla stock has gone from $19 to $1,000
yeah,
a share.
exactly. It's the $1 trillion or
And
whatever the company.
Yeah, and
It's nonsense.
anything that will get in the way of that, you're their enemy.
Yeah.
Even if people are going to die because it's a dumbass. It just doesn't work. It's just not. It's not ready
Yeah.
for prime time. It's 2 decades
I
away
agree.
from working.
I agree with you.
I totally.
And
yeah.
it's to be anti-unsafe technology,
Right.
when one company is released this really unsafe technology, it's really easy to go, well, you're anti. If Ford decided to go,
Sure.
fucking unlimited, fucking hit the button wherever, I'd be anti that too.
Sure, of course.
But it's unfortunately only one company is doing that right now and releasing this beta software to the public on public roads where I ride a motorcycle.
No, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
You know,
and again, I've had
so-
it on not even the most rural roads, but that's my job. I test this shit out,
Yeah.
and I've just what's going to happen here? And I've had it where it'll just be driving on a road and suddenly there's not a white line on the right side,
Yeah.
and for some reason it's like that line on the left side, ignore that, find one on the right, and it'll just head off in a cornfield or
Yeah.
something.
Even Spike last week was like, "Yeah, this thing fucks up all the time, but it's a really fun toy, and I like it. So I hope they don't take it away."
They should look. I mean, it's not full self-driving. It's not autopilot. Change the names. Also, limit them. Anyways, we've had this fight. We've had.
But
this fight.
after our discussion, Dr. Missy Cummings and I, we discussed like a whole range of topics about safety and the deployment of this technology and the difference between how humans drive a car and how machines can be programmed to drive a car. It makes me feel a little bit safer that she is not even in a position of authority, but in a position of advisement. Because, remember those government hearings where the fucking pathetic senators are questioning Zuckerberg and all them, and you go, "Oh my God, these people have no
idea how Facebook
what
works."
to ask
Yeah.
him."
Right.
It's clear their interns wrote some questions. They have no. So, at least there's someone who can help advise the agency about how this shit really works and doesn't work. It makes me very, very happy that she's
Well, it's
there.
incredible. I mean, it's so progressive to find someone who's an actual expert in the field and like a real. Clearly, she is well equipped, and then you go like, let's defer to her on these really hard and interesting and like just hugely important questions. And, you're like,
And she was on the board of directors of a company that built LiDAR, and she announced on Twitter today. She didn't announce. She had to delete her Twitter because she was bullied off of Twitter
she's
by
a woman.
Tesla.
Yeah,
but
that's what happens on Twitter.
It was announced on Twitter that she divested her board position in this company in order to be a fucking ethical
As you should
advisor
do,
to
yeah.
the-
Well, you should. No one does.
one does,
Remember,
but yeah.
every
Well, our
single
government is-
senator passing laws owns
bullshit.
stock in
Oh
the
my
companies
God.
they're
Fucking
passing
don't get me
laws.
started, dude.
I mean, honestly, and Kristen Cinema, fuck you too.
Well, but it's all over. I mean, it's everywhere. Every one of them. It's
Jimmy
like,
Carter
but at
sold
least-
his peanut farm when he became president.
Jimmy
Yeah,
Carter
you're right.
That's
sold
what you're
his
supposed to
He
fucking
did.
do. That's what you're supposed to fucking do.
Yeah, unlike the fucking
Yeah.
last asshole.
But
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least she got ahead of that.
Yeah,
You know,
good. Yeah, I think she's great. Yep.
Yeah.
I
So
think she's great.
please go back and listen to the podcast we did with her because it
Great
was
show.
really interesting. Let's grab. I mean, you want to get to 2 hours? Let's grab a couple.
I'm down. I got nowhere to go.
I every time I'm on the show, you're like, "Well, that's been 2 hours." I'm like, "Well,
let's
just
grab
I haven't even
a-
talked." I drove a Lamborghini LM002
Oh, yeah.
2 hours before I got
yeah.
here
on the worst tires ever.
Yeah, could you pull up the tires?
The LM002, the Rambo Lambo.
The Rambo Lambo, baby.
How was your
second?
How
pick.
was your experience?
It was rad. Okay, first of all, these tires.
Wow, they're
yeah.
cut on the sidewall.
So these are OE. This is original equipment. So this when Reagan
30-year-old
That's
tires.
not good for tires. It's good for almost all parts, but not tires.
When Reagan was in office, those tires were made. And it would rain for the first time in LA. What that means if you don't live here is all the oil that's been sitting under the ground for 17 years or whenever the last time it rained is now on the surface.
Yeah.
And if you don't lock the hubs, it's rear drive only. So
Yes.
this was like drifting around on these dead tires. It was
So
hysterical.
Countach powered manual transmission,
Yeah,
dog
so
leg.
That thing's a
SUV.
manual?
It's
It
a
is,
manual. It's a 5-speed dogleg, but it's a torquey Countach. So they changed something
the cam
about
profile
it.
or
Cams,
something
yeah.
probably.
Cams and the intake. The intake is insane. Zach, go to another picture. Keep going to the right.
You have an engine
There's
shot?
Yeah. There's the engine, but the next one. Boing. So one of those is the air filter. One of those is the
there's-
sand filter.
It looks like there's two Dutch ovens.
It's
in the-
they call it.
It's a chafing dish.
I think they literally call it the pots and pans.
yeah, they
That's
brought
what-
you room service in the
Yeah,
under the.
but it's a sand filter because it's designed
They're like
for
eggs Benedict.
It's
Here it is.
designed for the Saudi Arabia military.
hilarious.
Essentially. It's so rad. It's the coolest freaking
Where
car
is this?
ever. Just in the valley. My buddy Damien, he's got it at the shop, and it's rough. It needs some TLC. Paul Rivera, I don't know if you know Paul, he's awesome, but he's like, you got to come drive it. So I was like, yeah, perfect.
I've never driven one. I'd really like to.
This is my third one.
Not until they put new tires on this one.
Nah, it's fine. This is my third LM002, which means I've almost driven 1% of all ever made because I built 347.
Holy shit.
So if I drive 4, I've driven more than 1%.
That's
So
hilarious.
If you have an LM002 and are listening, DM me because let's make this happen. I want to get to like 5%.
But compared to an H1 Hummer,
it's the size of a Subaru Outback.
Oh, wow.
It's just not that big, even though it's got
so
this
funny.
monster
Economies
engine.
of scale are so weird, aren't
Well,
they?
think about everything, 35 years
Yeah,
ago. Holy
longer.
hell, man.
Yeah. So it's just not that big.
Did you get back into your outback wilderness and go, wow, this is huge?
It's a lot. It's roomier. It's very. That's the other thing. It's raining, so I wore boots, which is a mistake because the pedals. You have a Countach.
Yeah, they're tight.
It's
I
the
take
same
my
pedals.
shoes off to drive my Countach.
Yeah, I should have done that. It stalls a lot. It's that's just because I can't push the clutch in all the way because I'm not strong enough. It's just the raddest car. It's so good.
I have a friend. My friend Ben in Seattle drives
I've
his a
driven
lot.
Ben's.
You driven Ben's?
Ben has the best custom plate in the world. His custom plate for that is Fat Tire. It's the
Ben
best. Yeah.
Ben knows custom plates.
Yeah.
His custom plate, he had
Oh,
a
his game is strong,
the
yeah.
original one, the CLK DTM he has.
Yeah.
The plate was unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
Which was the original
Right.
dope fucking custom plate on that car.
Yeah.
Shout out
Anyhow,
to Ben in Seattle. We
Just-
love you.
Yeah, he's the best. But this is an amazing vehicle. I love it. It's also crazy trivia question. The very first thing Horatio Pagani did when he got hired by Lamborghini was the interior of this thing.
Oh, really?
Which is why it has
the
like
second
reggae
thing
colors.
he did was ruin the Countach.
He ruined the Countach second. Yeah.
Horatio Pagani's early career was sort of like Heinrich Fisker's late career.
Well, the interior, the interior's nice. Look, okay, check this out. There's the shifter. See that leather?
Yes.
It's a leather cover over the transmission with like leather string that's just tied off. It's rad. It's just full leather and wood.
They gave those intake manifolds on the engine look like what you got in the Diablo the next year.
Yeah.
They might have started with them here.
This was an '89, so it's right on that.
Your car
cusp.
is CIS, right?
My car's injected.
It is?
Yeah, my car is injected.
This
Yes,
is-
it is CIS.
You know what?
Yeah.
So only the last like 30 were fuel injected. That's why there has that massive power bowl, just because it was carbureted. It had this, like the 6 Webers.
Oh,
or
I didn't
whatever.
realize that
Just
they were
like the
carbureted.
Countach,
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
switched
yeah.
in '89. The other crazy thing, I drove one in Bahrain that was a 7-liter Marine V12.
They put the boat motor in it.
It was called the LMO to America. I think they made 6,
yeah.
and they were all the 7 liters, just for more torque.
Yeah,
And
that
it
makes
was-
sense.
It was rad. That thing was like $1 million rotisserie.
I would love
perfection.
to drive one of those Lamborghini offshore powerboats. I'd
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
Hell yeah.
love
With, like,
to
4
have a
of
go
those
one.
or whatever,
Oh my God,
right?
That's 4 V12s.
4 7-liter V12s.
I mean, just the fucking.
By the way,
tits.
4 7-liter V12s is 28 liters. That's
Beast
the
of
same as the
Turin.
Beast of
Perfect.
Turin.
There you go.
Wrap it up.
We brought it all back.
Wrap it up, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you, boys, for coming.
hell
That's
yeah.
2 hours of
Hell
radio.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you, Tony, for this delightful blended
Enjoy it.
booze
Don't let
that's
Johnny
not
drink
good
any.
enough for Johnny.
I drank
fuck
some.
it, don't let him
I
drink
drank some. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
All of y'all that asked us generic car questions. Generic's the wrong word. General car questions. We'll get to that on the next cruise show, we promise. We were having too much fun on our own learning about twin-engine Impalas and shit.
I'll tell you. We'll get it going. You guys.
Where is that car?
It's here. It's here.
Yes.
It's here. It's here. Yeah, we'll
Habibi.
get it going.
Habibi.
You should drive it.
And congratulations on that IWC. That's excellent.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
The man of
yeah.
excellent taste getting an IWC for his first proper watch. Really good call.
I own one myself. There you
Good. I had
Beautiful.
one. I sold for profit.
Well, that's good.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's come up.
Yeah. Got to get you in a Doxa.
I like your Doxa. Your
Yeah.
Doxa with
I don't
the
know how to
orange
pronounce
dial?
if it's Doxa or
It's Doxa.
Doxa.
It's Doxa.
It's not Doxa?
I'm pretty
Because somebody
sure
was saying
it's
Doxa. The Guzik was like, Doxa. I'm like, isn't it Doxa?
He's a man of taste, but I still think it's Doxa.
Yeah.
We got double show Thursday? Got 2 shows
Yeah,
on
we do.
Thursday, right?
Abigail Bassett.
We got McKeel Haggerty in the
Haggerty.
morning
Oh.
calling in from Traverse City.
Is he going to buy the show?
I hope so. Nice. And then we got Abigail Bassett fresh off the
Nice.
Rebel Rally in the afternoon.
Oh, cool.
So double header on Thursday. And then next week we're at SEMA doing 3 shows. We've got who's on our show? We've got
Detroit Speed, Kyle. Detroit Speed.
Kyle Tucker from Detroit Speed is on our show. We love him. We got Freddie
And Rob Dahm.
Tavares
I love
Hernandez on our
Tavares.
show,
Yeah.
and Rob Dahm is on our show live from SEMA next week.
Cool.
So that's our upcoming schedule. Get in the Patreon if you want to ask questions to any of those folks. If not, thank you all for listening and have a great Monday night. Bye.